Hey, what's up? Y'all know who it is, man. The Dolphins D, we already in here. Ready to turn up this year. He gon' get it.
To Hard Rock Stadium.
We gon' defend. We gon' defend. Homie, this side. We gon' defend. Let me hear you say, his squad. We gon' defend. We gon' defend. Homie, this side. We gon' defend. Let me hear you say, his squad. We got the whole squad with me now. Train to go. Come play games if you want to. Try to crash eyes, you done took the wrong route. We gon' crash you like a stunt dude. Check y'all like 1, 2. Slap your head like your uncle. You wanna ride, stay buckle. It get loud down here, get wild down here. Turn the field to a jungle. Never disrespect the squad that's defended by a line. And some beasts on the feast on the opposition. Another line in the back, singing to the ER. Just in case you got through, the first line was tripping. But if for some reason it get crazy, I got watchers on the corner for my safety. Everybody here well coached. Change the weather under pressure, stay cool like I AC. Woo! But we still make heat. Woo! Was you trying to play me? We be 3+ AD, but I'm a fool so low. Can't nothing break me. Be great, only way to do great things. Hit hard, only way to make a statement. Come up in our territory, make a payment. Or be in debt with your neck, gotta play. We gon' defend. Homie, this side. We gon' defend. Let me hear you say, his squad. We gon' defend. Homie, this side. We gon' defend. Let me hear you say, his squad.
I hit them boys. We throw them toys. Got 10 at QB. We them boys. We the realest. We go gorillas. We out here, homie. You gon' feel us. Don't make me come down. Get in that box. Like I'm red. I'll knock your socks. Won't play y'all boys. Cause we some bullies. We'll take your cookies. Cause y'all some rookies. I'm in the building. Me and Shot Jones. We do lane. We don't play zone. We play that man. So guard your hands. I see your eyes. You're scared,
we
man.
We gon' defend. Homie, this side. We gon' defend. Let me hear you say, his squad. We gon' defend. Homie, this side. We gon' defend. Let me hear you say, his squad. Yeah.
Man, y'all been part of the Buffet Boys. Shout out Solo D. Shout out to DWA. Let's eat.
Yo, Solo. You know they been saying you gotta make a hit squad part 2. But you know, man, we hungry this time, man. We gotta eat this time. Back in the beast mode. AFC, we tryna rap for the East Coast. Take shots, fall back, then reload. Get the powder time to slap up these foes. Anytime we hit the field, then we must play. Any boys gone hard, man, I must say. Try to stay on one route like the busway. Trying to eat teams up like a buffet. Eat the offense like a buffet. Eat the quarterback like a buffet. Eat the running back like a buffet. Eat the wide receiver like a buffet. Eat the whole line like a buffet. Eat the coach up like a buffet. Eat the fan base like a buffet. Stand one route like the busway. I say and not quote. Go hard or go home is the motto. A pick or a sack is the lotto. Let's cook them like Emerald Lagasso. My bad, Legacy. He going south, that is not me. Hungry for greatness, so I eat. Stay in my zone like I'm Bob B. Jumping off the edge like E and Shaq. Straight pressure, never easing back. Protection on the way you gon' get wins. Split through the middle like Wilkins. Got some backers on the back that's gon' back me up. Straight action, we be acting up. Tell Coach Drop his best plan, but it still get snatched by X-Man. Cause we back in the beast mode. AFC, we tryna rap for the East Coast. Take shots, fall back, then reload. Get the powder time to slap up these foes. Anytime we hit the field, then we must play. Any boys going hard, man, I must take. Tryna stay on one route like the busway. Tryna eat teams up like a buffet. Eat the offense like a buffet. Eat the quarterback like a buffet. Eat the running back like a buffet. Eat the wide receiver like a buffet. Eat the O-line like a buffet. Eat the coach up like a buffet. Eat the fan base like a buffet.
Eating like a buffet, it be a long day, we ain't gon' play. Yeah, them boys green, no subway. Pick the ball off X and BJ. I don't care about what he and she say, that's nonsense. Check the replay. I work overnight and it's early morning, but I'm turned up cause it's game day. They don't really want it with your boy. O-line really get destroyed. Ex-Patriot, Cal Van Noy, put him on his butt, hurt hemorrhoids. What's a grown man to a boy? Jim him at the line, dare you to throw it. Discipline coach Brian Flores, never getting routed to the boys. Fans better pay attention, even social distance. I got a witness and you know we blitzing, but mind your business. Christian Wilkins on the line of scrimmage, far from timid, push it to the limit, rub it engine. You know we gotta get it, Nick Needle. You know we gonna pick it, Van Ginkle, take it to the business. Fans up till my life is finished. Say it with my chest cause I'm in it. A lie, no why, I admit it. New era, yeah, I division. A win streak, we just keep on winning. So I lose to tell them suck a limit. Bills with the Jets in New England. Miami top dogs where you hear me.
Back in the beast mode. AFC, we tryna rap for the East Coast. Take shots, fall back, then reload. Get the powder time to slap up these foes. Anytime we hit the field, then we must play. Any boys going hard, man, I must take. Try to stay on one route like the busway. Trying to eat teams up like a buffet. Eat the offense like a buffet. Eat the quarterback like a buffet. Eat the running back like a buffet. Eat the wide receiver like a buffet. Eat the O-line like a buffet. Eat the coach up like a buffet. Eat the fan base like a buffet. Stay on one route like the busway.
So low, deep. So low, deep.
Know the whole city riding. A little early, it's a bit surprising. Business moves, now we enterprising. Switch it up, now we improvising. Go to get in the winter column. Whole squad been trained to go. Fence for life, we throw the foe. Singing this just to welcome bro. To a time. Time to grind, time to shine. To a time. To a time. Time to grind, time to shine. To a time. My intuition told me this. To trust the coach, he holds the gift. He knowing when to go with fits. So we knowing when to switch. This year we got the golden pick. Time to see what that pick about. Bad vibes get sent out. Only fans up in this house. We been waiting, yeah, we been patient. Now it's time to cash out, no discount. Super Bowl, yeah, we en route. I don't know when, but it's close. I don't wanna overhype, but I just know I like it. So excited, you gon' notice now. You should notarize it. They say tour from that rock. Shout out to Samoa and Islands. Time to lay the smack down. You think you Dwayne Johnson? Time to be the people's champ. Hit them with the people's elbows. Stick together like it's Velcro. You think you could stop us? Hell no, all day I dream about sports. I think I need some Chateau custom with some Dolphins colors. Just to let them know we here. Yeah. I know the whole city riding. A little early, it's a bit surprising. Business moves, now we enterprising. Switch it up, now we improvising. Go to get in the winter column. Whole squad been trained to go. Fence for life, we throw the foe. Singing this just to welcome bro. To a time. Time to grind, time to shine. To a time. To a time. Time to grind, time to shine. To a
time. Really hope he the man. Hope we found us a gem. Like the Heat found Bam. Wanna take time to thank Fitz, cause he put on the show. But the young man up in the whole city know. Time to catch all the blessings. Cash out on the investment. Ball out, don't choke. Fins want all the smoke. Chris Gregg gave hope. coach flow like sport. Dan Marino still a GOAT, but to a man on go. Watch to a man throw. Watch to a man scope. Watch to a man disrespect that we never ever seen before. Fans up, let it win. Boy, I'm ready for a ring. Maybe 3, 4, 5, 6. This damn week use 10.
I know the whole city riding. A little early, it's a bit surprising. Business moves, now we enterprising. Switch it up, now we improvising. Go to get in the winter column. Whole squad been trained to go. Vince for life, we throw the foe. Singing this just to welcome bro. To a time, to a time. Time to grind, time to shine. To a time, to a time. To a time, to a time. To a time, to a time. Time to grind, time to shine. To a time, to a time. To a time, to a time.
So low, so low, so low, deep. So low, so low, so low, deep.
Hey guys, I'm Danny Johnson, CEO at TPP, the Positive Porpoise.
I'm Jason Miller from Fins Up SoCal Fan Club.
I'm Scott Howell from Atlanta Dolphin Club.
Mark Angelo, NorCal Dolphin Club.
And you're listening to Clock Blockers, Miami fans' #1 morning show.
Run it, 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 run it.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy Stephen D, live on Spread Kindness Friday, and I'm super excited to be hanging out with y'all. I am super excited to be hanging out with y'all. We're going to have an amazing time today. Super excited about that. You want to know why? Do you guys want to know why? Because it's Spread Kindness Friday. That's right. It's contagious. It's contagious. You better watch out. You better not put no mask on. You better get this, I'm not talking about coronavirus. I'm talking about kindness. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. What's going on, everybody? It is your boy, Stephen D, on the #1 Miami fan morning show, Clock Blockers, on Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. You know how Spread Kindness Friday works. It's awesome. It's amazing. We got a lot of things we want to do today. Okay. A lot of things we want to do today. All right. So first things first, let me get to, everything I need to do, and then I'll bring in my co-host for the day. #1, if you haven't done so already, you know the first thing you guys got to do, right? You got to hit that like button. You have to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Come on, guys. If you haven't done so already, what are you doing? What are you waiting for? Hit subscribe. Share this link. Let everybody know that, hey, guys, I'm watching the #1 Miami fan morning show. I'm watching Clock Blockers. Why aren't you? You should be watching it with me. We can talk together about it. You need to share it with all your friends, family, all your loved ones. Tell them that this is the place to start their mornings right here, okay? And make sure you hit that like button if you haven't done so already, all right? Next thing, sign up. Sign up to become a member this morning, okay? I have my man in the building, big time, Chef Ju, D-Dub. Who else we got? Irving. Who else is in here? Stetson. Guys, tell them that they need to become your brother-in-law, your Fin-law. Okay? We have Fin-laws here. We don't have brother-in-laws or sister-in-laws. We have Fin-laws. Just like Cameron, who's going to be joining me here in a few minutes. He's my Fin-law. So I expect a really good present this year, Cameron. Fin-law. August 13th, my birthday, people. August 13th. Okay? So that's next Friday. We're going to party like we've never partied before for my birthday. It's going to be so much fun. I'm so excited. All right. One more week till my big day. All right. Yes. So join now if you haven't done so already. Okay. Make sure you do that. Other thing, if you want to donate to the channel, help the channel grow, there's a lot of things we want to do with that, right? First things first, what I need you guys to do is if you guys donate, you can donate 3 different ways. You can donate using the YouTube Live Super Chat, which you see right here. Okay. The other thing that you guys can do, if you guys don't want to use the YouTube Live Super Chat, you guys can do Cash App, MSM Podcast Network, or you can use PayPal, MSM Podcast Network. I'm not saying, but I'm saying it is Spread Kindness Fridays. You can spread a little kindness down this way. Hey guys, no, if you're able to donate whatever you have, whether it's $1, it does not matter. Just donate right there. One of those 3 ways, whether it's YouTube Super Chat, the Cash App, or the PayPal. All right. Now, follow me. If you are not following me on social media, what are you doing with your lives right now? Really don't know what you're doing. Okay. First things first, make sure you follow me at Stephen D. SKPL. SKPL stands for Spread Kindness, Positivity, and Love. Okay. So make sure you guys do that. Spread kindness, positivity, and love this morning, because that's what we do right here on Miami Sports Music. And we love to do it every Friday, and we love to do it all the time, but that's why we have Spread Kindness Fridays. All right. Next thing I need you all to do, go follow Miami Sports Music on Instagram and Facebook at Miami Sports Music. You can also do that on Twitter at MIA Sports Music. Right. All right. Now, the other thing, go follow my guys at 305sports.net. 305sports.net is your number one place to get all your sports news coverage, right here from the 305. I'm talking about all the way from high school to the pros. The 305 Sports team has the best news around. So go to 305sports.net, check them out. They are awesome. You can also follow them on social media at 305sports with 2 S's at the end. Also on 305sports.net, our media director, Jamie Bahamas, is up there. He's got amazing content. He's the lead Dolphins writer. So make sure you read all the Miami Dolphins content on the web. Make sure you check out the media director, Jamie Bahamas, content on 305sports.net. You can also follow Jamie at the Jamie Bahamas, and also download his podcast, Talking About Them Dolphins, wherever it is you get your podcast from. All right? All right. Enough about that. Without further ado, let's bring in the man, the myth, the legend himself. I'm talking about my man, Cameron. What's up, Cameron?
Hey, good morning, Stephen. Good morning, my Clock Blockers crew. Spread Kindness Friday. How you doing today? It's been a minute.
What's going on, baby? How are you? I missed you.
I missed you. It's been a minute, man. This work thing gets in the way sometimes, you know.
This thing called life, man, it does so much. It does so much.
It's all
so
good,
tell me, man, tell the masses where you've been, what you've been doing. People have missed you. They've been asking where you've been at.
Oh, man, I had to head up to New York City last week, New Jersey, Orlando for work.
This man's just been all up and down the East Coast.
Yeah, next week I'm in Atlanta for a few days. So it's getting back to the swing of things, work-wise.
I am super excited this morning. For those of you who don't know, Cameron is a huge contributor to the team here at Miami Sports Music, but he also is a big contributor to the content on Fridays here. And we've done Fridays live from Wrigley Field. We've done Fridays from a lot of different places here, and I am super excited about that. In about 5 to 10 minutes, we're going to bring on our guest of the day. Let me explain to you what's going on today. So Spread Kindness Friday is going to be a little bit different today. I know a lot of you guys are here because of the Miami Dolphins content. Guys, I promise you we're going to talk Dolphins football today, okay? Don't worry about it. We're here for it. Spread Kindness Friday is great today because today we're going to have, and I apologize if I say the name wrong, Katy Meagher. I hope I said that right. The executive director of Neighbors for Neighbors, which is a awesome, I don't know what other way to put it than they just help a lot of people through a lot of different things. So I did a lot of research on how, when we did donations a few weeks ago for the Surfside building collapse, I wanted a way to, where can we put this money? And so, I called places upon places upon places, and I finally came around to chatting with Katy, and she told me, hey, look, the way that we run things here, we can help the families of the displaced families as well as the first responders. And that's what I wanted. I wanted to find a way to incorporate both into our donation. So yesterday we donated the money, and we're going to talk about all that today, which is great. And we're going to talk about, what Neighbors for Neighbors and the Surfside Building Collapse Fund, what they're doing, what they have been doing, and a lot of the other things Neighbors for Neighbors does, because they don't just do stuff for this. They do a lot of other things too. So we're going to talk with Katy. I think it's a great Spread Kindness Friday thing to have up here. Don't you agree, Cameron?
Oh, 100%, man. I mean, the South Florida community especially All our thoughts and prayers and continues for everybody affected by the collapse of that building. And it's great to have Katy on to explain what her foundation's doing for it.
Yeah, definitely. And I got to give a big shout out to everybody that's watching, because all the money that was raised was from you guys, the fans. And, big shout out to the Positive Porpoise. Danny did a big contribution. Big shout out to Doll Freaky, a.k.a. Allie. She did a big contribution. Look, a lot of the money that was raised was basically, the team here. And that's the best part of this. And so we're going to be doing that today, and I am super excited about it because I want Spread Kindness Fridays to grow, and I want to be able to do more things. So basically, that's kind of where I'm at and what I'm doing, and that's what I want to do. I told Katy we want to do more things with her in the future, and so we're going to talk off the air at a future time about other things we can do with them down the road. But I am going to put the link in here for Neighbors during the show today. So today, as much as I want you guys to obviously donate to the show, you guys can keep donating today to the Surfside Building Fund. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the link in for Neighbors for the Surfside Fund into the chat box right now. And if you guys at all today want to donate, just click this link and you guys can donate more to Neighbors for /Surfside Fund. So that'll be a lot of fun this morning. Let me guys give you the rundown of how today's going to work. So we're going to talk with Katy this morning. And I don't know how long that's going to last, but I want to be able to have her on here to talk about whatever is going on with Neighbors for Neighbors. And then after that, we're going to get into some Dolphins talk and Dolphin chat this morning. And that's how that's going to work this morning. All right. So what I want to do first, though, is ask you specifically a baseball question before we get into Katy. How are you? I know I asked you last week when you were on, but how are you still feeling, Chicago Cubs fan? I mean, are you okay?
Of course. Right? Listen, of course I'm okay, man. I got my ring in 2016. It was a tough pill to swallow last Friday, but you know what? That's how baseball and business works, man. We're all good.
Man, let me tell you, those old Chicago Cubs have been hitting home runs too, which is kind of funny.
It's crazy, but hey, man, Baez went 0 for 5 with 5 strikeouts against.
See, you're rooting for them to lose. I knew you were rooting for them to lose.
I hate the Mets, so it doesn't matter what uniform, who's in that
There's
uniform.
No hating on Spread Kindness Fridays.
Listen,
Cameron.
we dislike immensely the Mets. I was like,
all right, so let me tell you what happened this morning. So this morning I woke up, and on my desk, I have this little desk here where I do my show every morning. My wife sent me a letter that said, "Happy Spread Kindness Fridays, Stephen D. Daniels, Clock Blockers." And then she got a little card. I'm not going to read you what was on the front of the card. But she said, "Happy Spread Kindness Friday. I love you, Stephen, and hope you have an amazing show." Guys, I have the best wife in the world. I just want to say that out loud right now. No offense to any of the other wives out there. That's a way to start out your Spread Kindness Friday morning, isn't it?
That's awesome support, bro. That's what we all strive for, man.
Well, hey, look. We can't all be perfect, except the 72 Dolphins.
And speaking of the Dolphins, man, I got to give a shout out to our man TD, because if he's on the Tua train, you know something's up.
Dude, big shout out to TD Fins Talk for doing all the coverage that he did this week live from training camp.
I'll be heading out there myself this afternoon, my man.
You thought it was this morning. Good thing I told you.
Good thing you told me, man. And
hit me up late last night. He's like, I'm going to be on the show. But I'm going to training camp, so I'm going to do the show live from training. I'm like, training camp starts at 1. Our show starts at 8:30.
Man, they switched that time up. That's all right. I'll still be out there, and if anybody wants to join me, I got 2 extra tickets.
I have 4. We still have 4 tickets. We couldn't give those things. We had like 4 people that were interested in the tickets, and then I was like, all right, here you go. Here's the tickets. And like, oh, we can't go.
Yeah.
So we got 6 tickets then. If you want to go to that, you let us know. Hit us in the chat box, and we'll send you to training camp today at 1 o'clock. All right. Without further ado, I don't want to keep her waiting anymore. We have her backstage. And again, this is an awesome Spread Kindness Fridays. We're going to go ahead and bring in, and hope I say your name right, Katy Meagher, right?
It's actually Katy Marr.
Katy Marr. Oh, see? But on the website, it says Meagher, but I guess I'm saying.
No, that's how it's spelled, but how it's pronounced is different.
Okay. One more time, Marr, right?
Yep. I had to go to Ireland and talk to a whole bunch of people and flashing my driver's license everywhere.
Well, good morning, Katy.
This is Cameron from East 32 Dolphins Tailgate.
Hi, guys. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me on. And I love spread kindness. I mean, come on. You know, and Neighbors for Neighbors, our hashtag is helping feels good. So I think they kind of work hand in hand.
Definitely. So I want to ask you, Katy, number one, thank you for coming on. I told everybody before the show, as I've said for a couple of weeks now, I was trying to find the perfect place to put this money to and send this money to. And I had the opportunity to talk with you over the phone, and you kind of told me a little bit about it. So first, before we go into anything, explain what Neighbors for Neighbors is, so people who don't know.
Well, Neighbors for Neighbors is a nonprofit, and of course, you know, speaking of the Dolphins, you know, home of the Dolphins is CBS4. Well, we are partners with CBS4, and actually, we started as a relief effort for Hurricane Andrew back in '92, and it was a television station effort, and it worked so well that we became our own 501c3 nonprofit, and so, but you'll see us a lot on Channel 4, but we're a separate nonprofit organization. And since then, and you know, 29 years later, believe it or not, Hurricane Andrew's, like, the anniversary is just a few weeks away. What we do and our mission is to connect those in need with those who can help, and that is, it runs the gamut, meaning that it can be disasters like Surfside, it can be hurricanes, or it can just be a regular person, individual with a need. And then we work with all the nonprofits in the community who provide amazing services, and we help them get connected so they can know where they can go. And, you know, because a person will call and they think they need one thing, and then it turns out that if they got something else, that would actually help them exponentially. And so, you know, we, you know, every person's an individual, but it's so great because, I mean, we've done things like help families get cars, help families just pay a water bill, it goes all around. And then, you know, in times like crises like Surfside, where the community comes together to help our neighbors, you know, it's just been absolutely incredible. And yeah, I see our website. There we go.
Your
and
website
then we do all
is
kinds
absolutely
of stuff.
user friendly, by the way. It's a really good website.
Oh, well, thank you. We just redid it. I shout out to Kevin, our web specialist, who designed all of that. And you know, because that's one of the things, you know, as a nonprofit, you want to, you know, try and make sure that you can get the information out that you're sharing, because we do all kinds of things. You'll see there, our Surfside Building Fund. We've been assisting with COVID relief, $1.2 million in COVID relief since we started.
Shout out to you. That's awesome.
Yeah. And that is not just, you know, food, but we've been doing gift cards, masks, essentials, and then getting right into the community. So going, you know, because you'd see all these food drives where people could drive up and get food, but we were bringing hot meals. We were working with the Dolphins, Miami-Dade schools. We were going right into neighborhoods we knew were needy, and, you know, helping those families who haven't, you know, had to cook because imagine things, you know, you probably stayed home a lot more and cooked a lot more, but imagine having to do that all the time and just never, ever having a reprieve. So bringing meals to these families, and then also nutritious meals too, was huge. And these were huge meals. These were like, you know, like
meals for a big man like myself.
Yeah. But even you, I think you might have trouble finishing one of these meals, and that would be one meal per person. But it was so great. It was so great. We brought them toys. And so it just, you know, a lot of amazing stuff. And then we have, you know, other campaigns throughout the year.
I like the mental wellness one. You know, I didn't mean to interrupt, but a big thing on our show, we always point out, you know, I've battled depression and anxiety for years, and I always bring it up. And, you know, when this whole thing with Simone Biles just happened, as well as Naomi Osaka, we talked about it on our show and how big of an important thing it is. That is one of the cool things about Neighbors for Neighbors is I see you have so many campaigns, but you're also shedding light on things that are important that are just now starting to get some recognition in the world today, and which I think is very important.
Absolutely. And more important is because there's a lot, especially in culture, certain cultures, you know, you're just supposed to, I mean, it's interesting, right? So Simone Biles, for example, is a perfect example of like the problem with the biases when around mental, health, is that if she was injured, everybody was like, yeah, if she was injured, of course she can't, compete. But because her mental state was injured, well, she should just suck it up, Buttercup. And you're like, no, because if the brain and your mind is not well, then the rest of you is not well. And just because there isn't like a physical bruise or, a broken bone to heal, then it's not okay.
I was explaining to people that the hard tricks that she was making were like, she was getting higher scores than her teammates,
right,
and was still not doing good because the level of difficulty of tricks she was trying to do were like, she is the best in the world. And so if she didn't feel like, she could really hurt herself, like she could really get hurt. And and I was trying to explain this to people, and some people just were not getting it. And I just don't think some people will, but that's another story for another day.
No, but that's the thing, then that's what mental wellness is all about, is breaking down that stigma of what does that mean to a person? What does that mean? And then let's stop like, kind of hating on people when they say, I'm not feeling well. Like, you should just, oh, hey, whatever. Like, it's just like a matter of, smile, you'll feel better. And you're thinking, no, it's not that easy. And that's the thing. I think a lot of people, a lot of cultures, you shouldn't go talk to somebody, like, that's a bad thing. And, it makes you weak. And I'm like, actually, it's harder to talk about it than it is to like suck it up, so who's the weak one? You who's trying to put me down. But the cool thing about Neighbors for Neighbors and our mental wellness program is there's a lot of resources right here in our community, local organizations. And so that's what we're trying to do. Break down that stigma, get you connected. And these are free resources, because that's the thing. We know not everybody's got insurance. Not everybody has insurance that has mental wellness, eligibility. I mean, mine doesn't, which is crazy, right? So, which is funny that I use that word, but it is, right? It's just like, that shouldn't happen. So we want people to know that, however you're feeling, whatever that is, it's all valid. And there's somebody out there, whether it's an individual, one-on-one chat that you want to have with somebody, you can go to a group. There's a lot of different ways to feel better, and like, never, ever, ever feel alone. I mean, no matter what you're going through, that's funny how as human beings, we seem like we feel like we cannot relate to each other. Like, there's no way you could possibly feel like me. And then you talk to somebody for like 3 minutes, and then you're like, oh my God, we're exactly the same. And that's the hardest part.
Cameron?
Yeah, so important, and I'm glad you touched on that. But I want to kind of shift towards the Surfside catastrophe, and I know that you had mentioned your immediate help through Neighbors for Neighbors, and how are you transitioning now in your long-term recovery, and what's that program look like now?
Absolutely. And that's, it's the perfect day, because today we are taking we've raised $290,000 so far. And that, you hear about other organizations that may have raised more, but understand the impact of what that money is going to be. That's kind of Neighbors for Neighbors, like little hidden secret, is how we take a little bit and turn it into a lot. But what we're doing is we're funding what's called the long-term recovery effort for this. And what that means is disaster case managers who will be assisting these families long-term with unmet needs. What does that mean? Well, right now, the Red Cross is here, and they're actually only here for the next week. And then they'll be gone. And that's the way it always works. They are what we call the cavalry. They come in, they get the family safe and established in a temporary housing or semi-permanent housing. And then after that, then it's other things. But like, everybody thinks, oh, FEMA is going to come in. No, FEMA only has a limited budget, and the same thing, get you safe. So now let's get you whole, or as much as whole as we can. And so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be assisting these families to find, we have all these resources that, can help them find housing, replace their car maybe cut out some of the fees that it would be in getting a car, because maybe they're going to get insurance, but it's not going to quite, it doesn't, when you lose literally everything, then how do you replace it all? So we're going to be working with all of the families, and that's the most incredible part about it, is that we're going to be able to assist every single family, because every family in this situation has varying needs, because some of them, maybe this was their permanent residence, maybe it's a vacation home, so maybe they don't need to replace everything right now because it's not where they're going to live, but eventually they will, and maybe they could wait. But at the top of this too is mental wellness, making sure, because a lot of these families are experiencing major trauma after what they went through. You see that they just released some of the body cam video from the police that responded immediately that evening. Mm-hmm. And the chaos, the utter confusion, the trying to understand, wait a minute, the building collapsed, what are you talking about? That's not possible, right? Because it's really not. I mean, this is literally the third time.
We never would have thought about it here in America.
No,
it was second. No. No way that could ever happen.
Right. No, unless there was an actual earthquake or an explosion. This has not happened on U.S. soil since like 1978. I think it was something like that. So that's a big deal. And why it happened and all that's going to come to light. But in the meantime, it's just helping these families, and initially it was funeral assistance for anybody who may have lost somebody. Then for the other side, it was, we did things like getting AirPods for one of the families, crazy family, a crazy story about this family. They were literally right over the initial area of collapse, that part that you saw where the water was coming down. Mm-hmm. They were in that apartment. They heard some noise. Mom went downstairs to talk to the security guard at the front desk and say, hey, and then they noticed the debris in the garage. And she said, you know what? Something just told her to get out. There was a crack in the shower. Her daughter was literally in the shower 7 minutes before the collapse, and they literally escaped with their lives. I got to meet them. And all the daughter wanted was just some AirPods. She just wanted to drown out the world. But we went with our partners at T-Mobile. They got them new phones, and we sat with them. And the dad said to me, I'm the richest man in the world. And I was like, well, first I didn't know what he meant. He says, because I have my family. And he says, and I'm even richer because you came, meaning me, and sat with my daughter today, and she's smiling. And she has not smiled since we left the building.
Katy, if I can step in right there and ask you a question. This scope of recovery is something probably we haven't seen in South Florida since Hurricane Andrew, if I'm not mistaken. And being a point person and touching so many lives, how do you handle this personally?
You know what? It like I said in the beginning, helping feels good. It really does. I mean, I'm a crier, and I've tried to not, well up, and especially in front of the families, because you don't want to be like a blubbering, idiot. But I can't tell you how, there is a balance, because you can't do everything, right? So that's the struggle of knowing I will do a lot, but I won't be able to do it all. And so just trying to celebrate the wins, even when things are, tough. And knowing that, that's the thing that I want to tell everybody's watching, that you can trust when you give to Neighbors for Neighbors. I mean, we're a huge organization that's a really small group, because there's literally only 3 people that work for Neighbors for Neighbors. You're looking at a third of the whole organization right now. And maybe to toot my own horn, but I was made for this. I'm that girl that's like in the grocery store, and I hear somebody go, but I don't know where the pickles are. And I'm like, that's aisle 5. And my husband will be like, what are you doing? You don't even know them. And I'm like, yeah, but now they know where the pickles are, right? And he's like, but you don't have, there's a guy. And I'm like, where's the guy? They're going to have to go find the guy. I'm here. I'm the guy.
Yeah, that's what Spread Kindness Friday is about, just messages just like that. We're all here as our brothers and sisters keepers, right?
Exactly. And I mean, it's amazing. We, like, for example, the Dolphins, we work with them all year round. During the holidays, the rookies all adopt families, and they go shopping for the kids and stuff like that. And it's the best part of our community. That's the thing that I love about what we do, is that we get, during those times of need, we get to see the best of our community come together. Because you can hear a lot of crap about Miami and say what you want about our fun little city. But really,
we know. We know.
Yeah, but at the heart of it, we're freaking awesome. And there is not another organization like Neighbors for Neighbors anywhere in the globe. We don't exist anywhere else.
So great segue, because I did my research. I was like, where can this money go? I called up the firefighters and I said, hey, look, we want to give gift cards to you guys. And they're like, well, we can't accept gift cards. We're not allowed to accept gift cards and stuff like that. And I was like, well, where can I go that I know that I can help either the displaced families and or the first responders? Because again, this is a big thing that happened. And there were first responders who lost loved ones in this accident. And I searched high and low, and I really feel like you were a gift from God, because I didn't know something like you existed. I didn't know Neighbors for Neighbors existed. And so learning everything that I've learned recently, hearing you right now talk about everything, and then the mental wellness, which I'm a big fan of, and I want to talk to you offline about that. I just feel like you're doing so much for the community. So explain to me how the first responders kind of dive into this. That's my next segue.
Absolutely. So, these amazing men and women, of course, were working tirelessly on what they called the pile, right? And that was the debris. Once every person that perished in the collapse was found, all that debris was brought over to a secondary site where they're literally going through it with, this is an evidence site. This is run by the police. This is run by homicide, actually. And they're going through all the debris to pull out all the personal items they can, bag them, tag them, and hopefully return them to the family. So, whether it was damaged or whether it's intact, and they even found like unbroken wine bottles in the debris, which is incredible. So, you know what I mean? That could be, we're going to open this in 20 years or something. You know what I mean? It's just whatever they can
little
do.
Things.
But these folks, first of all, just the heat alone, it is hot as hell outside. And at one point they were on top of a pile that was literally on fire, because the building had fires underneath the rubble. So if you ever saw some of the footage of that, now that has ended. But, so we're bringing food out to them, but not just food. We were coming out like 3 meals a day, actually amazingly cooked with love by our very, very best friends at catering the event in Miami. They've been around forever. Yeah. Shout out to Susan and her whole team. And Susan's like a mama bear, she's like, I don't know if she's Italian or not, but she might as well be, that mom, like, oh, no, you're going to eat a good meal. We're not, none of this crap stuff.
We're going to make sure that you get your stomach full. Don't even worry about
it. Sit down. Did you have enough to eat? And, but so we've been going out. Not only with that, we were going out in the afternoons and bringing ice cream. Zombie Ice came out with their icy truck, and we brought them ices. We donuts, things like that. And it was like, you just saw these tired, exhausted, and emotionally exhausted folks going, because they've been going nonstop.
This is their community too.
Yeah. And just the kind of like the perk up after they, as they're, because Zombie Ice didn't just come. Have you ever seen Zombie Ice? They like rock out the music. So here's this truck coming into this somber kind of thing. Like, he's like, can I play music? They're like, please. And then they were like, each girl, because there's guys and girls there. Each person there was having like 2 of them and just chugging down these, like, because everybody's a kid at heart. But the best part about this is that, we're like feeding their souls kind of a thing, like, and that's important. And then also I got to shout out to T-Mobile again, because they were so awesome. And this is one guy. This isn't like this big, huge corporate thing. This is like the regional manager, Matt, who's like literally going, I'm bringing a whole bunch of OtterBox cases down there, and I'm gonna, give them some life-proof cases because these guys are working really hard. And so, what kind of phones do y'all have? And he's like checking, and and next thing you know, he like shows up, and they all get brand new cases. And even one of them, the guy lead, he shows his case, and it's like, peeling
Falling
apart,
off.
and
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, well, you're the first one to get one. And then he went and got a whole bunch of sandwiches from Chick-fil-A. Like, he went to Chick-fil-A and bought the sandwiches and then
It's
brought
little
them
things
down.
when people can contribute
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
Get the donuts. Like I said, man, there's like dying out there. It's so hot. He and his daughter went and got ice cream.
Now they're in like a warehouse, right? Or like a
No, this is outside.
They're
This
outside.
is in a 5
in the
acre lot.
100-degree whatever in South Florida.
Yes. No, and I mean, our friends we have some other friends who got them tents and sports strings, and we're getting them what's called shine water. If you ever heard of shine water, because it's like super, it's like better than Gatorade for everybody. But the best part is just the smiles on their faces, and because you think going through the debris, right? I mean, it's heartbreaking because there's two piles. There's the pile from the initial collapse, and then there's the secondary. So that first pile, everybody died. Literally one person lived out of that whole pile, that kid. And so it's you just know you're going through the last little bits of people's families. What is going on? There is somebody outside my window.
All right, real quick, let me hit the reset button. You guys are listening to
Wait a minute, Katy, you okay? There's someone breaking in?
Blink twice if you need help, Katy.
You know what it was? I think it's the guy like spraying my yard for bugs, but like all of a sudden it was like the creepiest noise. This is what happens when you do stuff live, right?
See,
like,
that's how you go viral.
Yeah, you'd be like,
right there.
As we're on the phone with her, Katy was attacked. No,
come on now. We're not wishing that upon anybody. Don't wish that evil.
Don't worry. He would you'd see a good fight happen.
I'm sure Katie's probably got some.
I do DDPY yoga, so don't mess with me.
I want no problems. All right. You guys are listening live to the #1 Miami fan morning show, Clock Blockers, right here on Miami Sports Music's podcast network. I'm your host, Stephen D. Alongside me, as every Friday, I have Cameron 954 from East 32 Dolphins Tailgate. And our special guest of the day is Katy Marr. I said it right?
You did.
Yes. All right, Katy Marr from NeighborsForNeighbors.org. We made a donation to NeighborsForNeighbors.org yesterday from the funds that were raised here on the show. Katy, before we let you go, I mean, explain what in the future, like, so what is it going forward now for the Surfside? People want to know, why should I, do I still need to donate money? Is there people still need money? Explain why people still need to why it still helps to donate money. And by the way, I'm putting in the chat box a link. If you want to donate right there, click that link and go donate for Neighbors Surfside.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's still important to give. I mean, because those first responders are still, out there working. They're probably there for at least another month. And nobody was prepared for this. Nobody had like a budget money aside or whatever for something like this. So we're helping to fund those things. And then the things that the families are going to need are, we don't even know. I mean, we're working with a lot of partners, but they can only do so much, they can only give so much furniture. They just can't furnish a whole house. And I mean, one of the families needed, like, she worked from home. She needed a new computer. She needed, things like that. And her business didn't provide that, she provided it for herself, but, she's not sure she's underinsured. She didn't have enough money. And then she wasn't working. So then it became this catch-22, So, we're here long-term. I mean, we expect that this recovery effort is going to take the next 18 months at minimum. And because who knows what's going to come out of it, but we're going to be there for them. And then mental wellness, making sure that these families are dealing with the trauma that they've experienced and that they have the support they need to get through this. And we're there for them as well. And that's going to take, professional experts, and some of that, they can't donate all of that, they've got to, so we'll be funding those efforts. And so that's where the money goes, is to, pay for those experts to do their jobs that they are so prepared and ready to do, but that are these families need, and that insurance and other things don't cover.
Hey, Katy, I have my final question. And since we're, a Miami Dolphins centric podcast here, talk about the genesis of not only the Dolphins' interaction with Neighbors for Neighbors for the Surfside project, but what you're doing moving forward and how that got started with Tom Garfinkel and the new ownership group.
Well, Neighbors for Neighbors and the Miami Dolphins have a really close relationship, especially because of our partners at Channel 4. If you see our logo, you'll see the Channel 4 in there. Mm-hmm. And, we've been a part of that family, since our inception. And the Miami Dolphins always step up to the plate through their foundation. We've been feeding families all through the pandemic, and working with them. And so what they were doing is really cool, is they were identifying minority businesses, catering companies, restaurants, and stuff like that, who then were providing meals for families. And then we were identifying the families that were in need in these great neighborhoods and going literally right into the neighborhood with a food truck and in the Dolphins, not the players themselves, but their team behind the scenes, and feeding these families. And because, it goes both ways, right? I mean, the Dolphins can't do it without the families, and the families can't do it without the Dolphins, kind of thing. And, so it's, and they're the Miami Dolphins, right? And we are, we're just neighbors for neighbors. It goes together.
Yeah.
But we're so proud. I mean, we've been working, like I said, the Dolphins adopt families at the holidays. We have our Adopt a Family program, which is now 29 years old. And, so we have families in need every holiday season, and the Dolphins will pick families, and the rookies go shopping. And in the past, before COVID, they would literally bring them over to the training facility, and the families got to literally play in the practice dome, which was like so cool. And I mean, they were riding bikes around in there, throwing the football. The best was actually a couple of the players literally on the floor, like playing dolls with the girls. So it wasn't just all about the sports. And but
hey, I have a 5-year-old daughter. There's nothing like playing dolls on the floor.
Yeah, they were having the best time. And each family, when they came in, it was like a full table full of gifts, everything. And then they also got them dinner, so when they got home, mom didn't have to cook, and dinner was ready for everybody. And so we just love them. And it's funny because I come from a Patriots house, but I'm a
what?
Yeah,
hey, you're breaking up. We
I
can't hear
sing
you,
the Miami
Katy.
Dolphins song. Well, my husband's from New England. I am too, but I've lived down here for
so you're a Dolphins fan now, right, Katy? Right.
Always. But I'm not allowed to sing the Miami Dolphins, song at my house.
Yes, you are. Blink twice if you need help. Okay.
Not at all. Well, now he's a Tampa Bay fan, because
see, we can't all.
He's
be
just
perfect.
following Tom Brady.
We can't all be perfect except the 72 Dolphins. That's all I
right.
have to say when that happens.
Okay, Katy,
I've mentioned that twice so far.
Katy, I'm super glad that you talked about the Miami Dolphins, because they are a bedrock of our community here, and to amplify what they do behind the scenes and for the community is especially important. Especially here, on Spread Kindness Friday. So I really appreciate you talking about the Dolphins in that regard.
Yeah.
Chef Jew says, Neighbors for Neighbors, CBS 4 Miami Dolphins always spread kindness, positivity, and love since I was growing up.
That's awesome. It's true. Yeah. It's true. And because he tweeted it.
We have to make you a mainstay of Spread Kindness Friday. Katy.
I love that. We've got so much more we can do together. I mean, it's just,
So much more.
No, I can't, I can't wait.
Well, just so you know, Cameron runs a tailgate, one of the most famous tailgates in the world, and I'm not exaggerating, called East 32 Dolphins Tailgate.
I know. You know what? I have seen him around.
Well,
for
he's
sure.
got a familiar face. He's a handsome man. I can't say nothing more about him other than he's just an amazing man. But I know that I talked to you about doing stuff with him in the tailgate this year. I know we'll talk offline, but I would love for all of us to come together and do something. Miami Sports Music, Neighbors for Neighbors, and East 32 Dolphins tailgate would be absolutely.
It's a big goal of ours.
Like Neighbors for Neighbors cornhole. I'm seeing.
See, look,
Kate, it's a big goal of ours this year to start integrating more community-related efforts. Whether it's somebody different each week or
No, it's the same one each week.
Same one each week. Neighbors for Neighbors. But as far as identifying a different focus through Neighbors.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, that I can do all day.
Yeah. So I'd love to talk.
She's got the pulse of the needs of the community. I like it.
Yeah,
all right, Katy,
absolutely.
tell people where they can find you, where they can find Neighbors for Neighbors, social media, anything like that, and anything you guys are doing moving forward that people need to know about.
Yeah, I mean, obviously our website, neighborsforneighbors.org. And of course, we're on all of the, we're on the Tweety face and the Facey tweet and also
Twitter.
the Insta. Yeah, we're not quite on TikTok yet, although my daughter, I'm like, I can't.
I have a 10-year-old. I tell you, Katy.
It's
just like, oh my God, my brain. But yeah, we're on all the social media. And of course, you'll see us on CBS4 as well as you will see the Miami Dolphins. So.
Yeah. Right. And then Miami Sports Music Podcast Network too.
Yes, exactly. Now we have a new home.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. You're going to go on vacation next week. And when you get back from vacation, we're going to talk. So make sure you put that on the schedule for all of us to sit down and talk. Thank you so much for coming on. Enjoy your vacation. Much deserved after everything that's happened over the last several weeks. And thank you so much for doing what you've done for the Surfside community.
Thanks for having me. Thanks, you guys, so much. You guys are the best.
Katy. Thank you.
Have a wonderful day.
You too.
Awesome. That was awesome, right?
Way to kick off Spread Kindness Friday, brother. That was awesome.
Hit the like button if you guys enjoyed that, because that was absolutely hit it, smack it, whatever you got to do. Hit that like button because that was amazing. That is what Spread Kindness Fridays is about right here on Miami Sports Music's podcast network, Clock Blockers. We do that. We've not done anything like that. I'm so happy. Again, I was searching high and low for a place to obviously put the money to. And it does my heart good. Like, I feel really good that we found them, because Neighbors for Neighbors seems like the perfect place to be able to do stuff for moving forward in the future. Would you agree?
100% agree. I'm looking forward to working with her in the tailgate. Hopefully something can come about here soon with that.
All right. Now that I'm all emotional, worked up and everything, how y'all doing today? Are y'all ready to talk some Dolphins football?
Hey, can we start? I want to talk about something real quick before we talk about Dolphins football real quick, if you want to appease me.
I will appease you.
I think I geek out on any sports, right? And in the Olympics, I love because you get to see disciplines in sports that we don't really know about, and you get to appreciate athletes doing their thing on a world stage with the rest of the world's most exceptional athletes competing, right? Mm-hmm. And two things stuck out with me over the past 24 hours or so. Number one, this morning, Allison Felix won a bronze medal. Mm-hmm. And making her, I believe, the most decorated American woman in Olympics history.
Yep.
10th medal, I believe she earned this morning. But last night, and my daughter's a swimmer. I grew up a swimmer. I went to college as a swimmer, but I appreciate diving more so probably than the average human. And China last night had a 14-year-old win the gold medal, and not only did she win the gold medal, she set an Olympic record for her score. She beat the 3-time world champion and 2-time gold medalist, who's Chinese and 19 years old, by the widest margin ever in Olympics history. And it was incredible, amazing. If you all don't believe me, go to YouTube, whatever Olympic recaps that you can find, and check this out because it was it measures my to me. I was just affixed to this TV watching this 14-year-old girl execute dives that nobody else in the world can to her level. And it was pretty damn cool.
I love when stuff like that happens, right? It's the little things in sports that I think make being a sports fan awesome. You know, we went to Buffalo Wild Wings last night for dinner, my kids and I. Traffic was so bad, and they were like, it was going to take forever to get home. So we're like, all right, let's just do dinner out. And so they had the Olympics on at B-Dubs, and we're sitting there watching it, and my kids are like, they're doing the power walking stuff, right? And it's and they're like, where's the American at? Where's the American at? And I'm, trying to explain to them, look, Americans are good at some sports, and some other, countries are a little bit better than others at other sports. But then they started showing like little things like kayaking and like.
Well, I was watching the individual canoe racing, and I thought it was funny, and I hope no one takes offense to this, but the Cuban won.
Yes,
like, that's pretty appropriate.
and look, it's really cool to kind of see. That's why I love the Olympics. You get these little stories every 4 years that just kind of make your heart feel good about somebody doing some good for their country. And 14 years old, that's crazy.
But that's what the Olympics are about, Steve, right? It's bringing the world together on one stage, competing and sharing that camaraderie. And
what is it? The pole jump, the pole vault? Is that what it is?
The American won last night.
Well, it is. I don't know if it's that, but whoever the person was going for in the gold, they asked, well, can we both win gold?
Oh, that was the high jump. So it was a gentleman. Yeah, a gentleman for Qatar, and I can't remember where the other gentleman was, but they tied. And instead of, the judge gave them the option of having to jump off, and instead they decided to share the podium for the gold. And I thought
that's so cool, right? Like, you don't get that anywhere else,
right? That's the spirit of competition.
You don't get that anywhere else.
Nah.
All right,
back to Dolphins.
Now let's talk to some Dolphins football, baby. So this week was an amazing week. I want to give a big shout out again to TD Finstock for doing such an amazing job covering training camp. There will be training camp today starting at noon. We have 6 tickets between the two of us that we want to give away. Go ahead.
Sorry,
one. Okay. Well, what? Just one now? Out of 6?
1 p.m. 1 p.m. training camp.
Oh, 1 p.m. training camp. Okay. Yes, it starts at 1 p.m. Gates open at noon. But yeah, so we have 6 tickets to give away. If anybody wants to go to training camp, hit us in the chat box. We'll make sure we get you out to training camp today. But aside from all that, it was such a crazy week, and let's just start where everybody's starting at, and that's Tua Tagovailoa. Tua had such an amazing week. There are 2 people that can be very critical, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean that the reality. Omar Kelly and TD Finstock will call, they can be critical of Tua. And they thought that both of them had nothing but praises for the man the entire week. And I don't know, it just kind of got my juices flowing that this is it. This could be the guy.
Hey, and I get it, like you got to prove it to some of these folks. Some of us, buy into the hype quicker than the others, and some people see, the writing on the wall when it comes to Tua and as far as his progression and where he was going from last year, and taking into account everything. And then there's others who are more on the negative, not negative, but pessimistic side of things, and totally respect that. But it's awesome to see people, like TD and some of the beat writers like Omar getting on the Tua train, because now they're seeing it with their own 2 eyes.
By the way, I don't want to say TD was ever off the Tua train.
No.
I know Omar was not, but
yeah.
But somebody like TD, they see it how they call it how they see it, and so now they're seeing things. TD was on his stream saying, "Guys, I've seen stuff that he's never done before," and that to me is something that makes me be like, okay, this could be the guy. And look, we have PTSD as fans, and I don't use that term lightly, but the reality is we do, right? Like, we've been hurt, we've been betrayed. We thought we've had the franchise quarterbacks in the past. Our fan base has been split down the middle on a million different things. We've had a million different head coaches, GMs, quarterbacks, the works. Is this the right regime? Is this the right coach? Is this the right quarterback?
Man, you see the perfect storm coming together, right? Like, they came off a really good season where they exceeded expectations with a limited
2 seasons, actually.
Yeah, a limited roster last year, especially on the offensive side of the ball. And now you're seeing, the parts be put in place to succeed. Like I mentioned last week, there's more talent on this roster, from number 1 to number 90 than ever before. And that makes a difference. And they're competing against, when you compete in practice against better talent, it only makes you better, right? So it's funny. We'll talk about this later on about our expected final season record. But, the perfect storm, it's the team is being set up to succeed. And then that's what you want to see as a fan.
Yeah, look, I dropped the link in the chat for you guys to come on. If you guys want to come on, you want to chat with us, tell us what you think, how you think the team has looked so far in training camp. I want to hear from you. What are some things you're looking forward to seeing today? This is your first time going out to training camp this year. What are you looking forward to seeing?
Well, number one, I want to see Tua with my own 2 eyes. I want to see Preston Williams was activated off the PUP list today and said to be in pads. He'll be in pads this afternoon. So I want to see him out there and just where he is in the pecking order as far as wide receivers. Where
I can tell you, Albert Wilson's been playing a hell of a training camp so far.
Hey, pat myself on the back. I called that, months ago. And AB, he might lead this team in yardage at the end of the year. That's what I think will happen. But I want to see him. I want to see the offensive line. I want to see, where who's starting where. Right now it's early and they're mixing and matching. But right now you got Eichenberg on the left in the left guard position. You got Dieter starting at center. So I know that they're working.
I still think that offensive line is a hodgepodge. I don't think they know what they have yet.
Well, and that's indicative of this coaching staff. They've always done that over the past 3 years. They've tried people at different positions and plugged them in, and then boom, all of a sudden the first game of the season, it's a whole new starting 5, and that's what they run with. So, but I want to see who's where and just how they look. I'm interested in seeing Jalen Phillips back on the field. I don't know if he'll be back on the field today, but that's some of the things I want to see.
100%. All right, let me bring in our first guest, our first caller, our first streamer, whatever. I don't know exactly what to call him. I can't say caller. I still haven't figured out. My first Finlaw onto the stream. Todd, what's up, Todd?
What's going on? I'm just looking forward to seeing Tua keeping the momentum going.
Hey, you and
Agreed.
I both. Consistency, right? That's something that we want to see.
That's what it comes down to.
It's something we haven't seen in years in this franchise.
Yeah.
Consistency is a tough
I
thing
haven't seen it personally since Marino. You got to remember, I'm older. I'm 40. I'm 47, so I go back to the Marino days.
I got
Go
too
ahead,
much
Cam.
years, brother.
Well, Cam probably remembers those days. I'm just a little bit younger than you guys, just a little bit.
Yeah, but I agree with Todd. Like just seeing Tua continue to progress and continue to take ownership of this team and continue to develop the rapport. As they plug in new installs into this offense. Couldn't agree with you more, Todd.
I want to see the offensive line because I want to see the running game improve. We don't need a 100-yard back every week. We just need a running game that will help out.
Agreed.
Something more than what we've had.
Agreed. And so far, during training camp, the reports on Gaskin and Ahmed have all been very favorable. Brown and Dokes doing their thing.
Yeah, but also the reports have been that our offensive line is letting Wilkins get to the backfield, Davis get into the backfield.
Well, Todd, I want to bring up to you. We're playing that our offense is playing a top 3 defense in the NFL as far as I'm concerned.
I agree. I agree completely, and I hope this improves them for the rest. I just want to see it come week
1 and 2.
No, I want to see it against the Bears in preseason.
Hey, August 14th, 1 p.m. Make sure you guys are there. It's going to be awesome. All right, Todd, we're going to do things a little bit different today. We're going to try to bring on people one at a time. But is there any other thing you want to get off your chest before we let you go?
Nope. Y'all have a good one, man.
Todd, thanks for
your
supporting and watching, man. I love you, brother. Thank you so much.
Thanks
for being on, Todd.
All right, we're going to bring on my man Rashad next. Rashad, what's up, brother?
What's happening?
Hey,
How
good
are
morning,
you,
Rashad.
Good morning.
Good morning. We're doing things just a little bit differently on Spread Kindness Friday, but welcome to Spread Kindness Friday. What do you want to talk about, man? What are you most looking forward to, today, in the future, and what have you liked? What have you seen that you've liked so far?
Probably do it a little backwards. What I like so far is possibly not the last training camp, but the one before last where the defense stepped up.
Yep, Benardrick McKinney.
That's all I heard was Benardrick McKinney.
That's
was
all you heard.
Shooting every gap and all of that. And that was with Jalen Phillips and AVG on the sideline.
Yep.
So that looks promising. In the future, I'm looking forward to next week. First preseason game.
Did you watch the game last night? Did you watch the Hall of Fame game last night?
I was watching some of it, but then it just got terrible. I couldn't.
Terrible. That was terrible, Kenny.
Clearly, these are backups, and it didn't even look like they were.
I watched till the clock went double zeros in the fourth. I did. I watched the whole game.
Yeah, I was flipping back and forth, but yeah, it wasn't too exciting. But it's my first Dolphins preseason in 2 years. I finally get to judge it how I always do, because I don't pick who should do what, in my own opinion, until the preseason start.
I think we're going to get to see a lot of Jacoby Brissett in the preseason, which is fine.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
And I'm good too, because I think you'll see a lot of players it's not like you're going to see two different offenses. Jacoby and Tua's playbook should be very similar. So we should see, from a standpoint of how the offense looks, even with Jacoby in the backfield. Oh, okay, this wide receiver looks pretty good. Oh, this tight end looks real. Oh, this offensive line. I think we'll be able to see things. And so what I want to see again is I want to see how the offensive line works, because I think that's just going to play such a big part in the success of this team this year.
Agreed. Yeah.
Cam?
No, I agree with him, man. And looking forward to the first preseason game next week, and how this team is going to be put on the field. All these practices leading up there are so important to see, what kind of offensive installs there are, and who really gets to start, and how much playing time for guys like Javon Holland and Vince Beagle coming off injury, considering AVG's current status. So, and I'm also looking at the tight ends. I know the guys came off the COVID list today, Shaheen and Carter, and how they're going to, get back into the system.
It'll be very interesting to kind of see, what a good storyline, not a good storyline, let me not put it like that, but a big storyline. How about that? Within the NFL now is these COVID protocols in the 17th game. And yesterday, in a lot of press conferences around the league, you saw players call out the NFLPA, call out the NFL for everything that's going on. And, you're starting to see now a lot of personal questions, too, from the media to the players about being put in a very difficult position to have to answer that, which I don't think they should have to, honestly. That's just my opinion of it. But I do think that it is interesting now that the players are being a little bit more outspoken around the league. And you look at a guy like Adam Shaheen, who we all saw his Twitter last week, pretty much saying what he was saying. So, I mean, what do you feel about that, Cameron, like with just everything?
Yeah, I think we spoke about this. Like, listen, I can't tell my employer, I'm not going to do something if it means I'm going to jeopardize the rest of the team, right? Like, obviously it's his personal decision, but it's also his personal decision to forfeit a paycheck or not be on the field. Because if he were my teammate and he's jeopardizing, a loss or my ability to perform on the field because, of his personal choice, then I got a problem with that,
Rashad, as a fan, look, we want to obviously, I don't talk politics on my channel, so I'm not asking your personal preference, but how do you feel about the players being a little bit more outspoken about the NFLPA and the NFL? Do you think that, as a fan, do you even care? Is that something that you worry about, or is that something that, because I want to get a fan's perspective on this, like as a diehard fan that you are for the Dolphins, do you think that this plays a role in this team this year?
I feel like it's definitely going to play a role, because there are those teammates that have small children, elderly, sick parents, and to say a breakout does happen, now you're putting their families in jeopardy. Some people, like I had the conversation about like last week, some players don't care because they're going to get paid anyway or already been paid. But there's some players who are trying to solidify that big contract or something like that. But now we have to forfeit games, or
it'll be interesting to see how that works, right? It'll be very interesting how the NFL plays that into I think they haven't released numbers on team yet, but they have said that a majority of the teams are 75% vaccinated or more. So, and it was funny because 3 weeks ago they were saying nobody was vaccinated. So I feel like I'm getting two different answers here in 3 weeks,
Well, by game one, I think the requirement is 75% of the whole staff, like not only players, but coaching staff and anybody working around the team on the field or traveling with the team. It's funny. I think it was the CBS had an interview with two of the Dolphins players out at CB Smith Park, waiting in line like everybody else to get vaccinated yesterday. And after practice, it was just interesting. But I fully expect the Dolphins to be compliant, I guess is the best word to say, at that 75% level by game one.
Yeah, sorry guys, I'm sitting here trying to do two things at once with the computer here. It wasn't working right. All right, hey Rashad, what is any last thoughts you want to give before we let you go?
Well, I think I forgot the today part. Today, I know I've been down and out on him, but I found myself watching his college tape again last night.
You got excited, didn't you? You got excited.
Off the COVID list. He's supposed to practice today. Finally, we get to see Preston, and now we get a real judgment. Well, we still don't have Will Fuller, I think, but we get a judgment of Preston and Tua again.
And you know what? If Preston's, the pressure's on him because Foster's come in and done his job. Kirk Merritt has been balling out.
Mm-hmm.
So there's players ready to take his spot if he doesn't do his thing. So it'll be interesting to see Preston and how he performs, because I think the spotlight's on him.
It'll be very interesting to see how that wide receiver plays out. Rashad, thanks for coming on, brother.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Fins up.
Have a good day, Rashad.
You too.
If you guys want to come on, I'm putting in the clipboard, the link to come on. I'd love for y'all to come on. I see Finsanity in here. I'd love for you to come on for a little bit, Finsanity. I see, Chef Zhu. I see everybody in here. NorCal, Paris.
Shout out to NorCal.
Shout out to Healthins. Hey, guys, real quick, while we're waiting for some of y'all to come on, I do want to, guys, let you know, Monday. Let me take this bottom thing off so you guys can see it. Monday at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, we are going to have the premiere episode of Fire and Ice Combat Sports Podcast with my main man, Angel Ortiz. He's going to have some fire guests. He's got two current UFC fighters, Miranda Maverick, who just lost a very controversial fight a couple weeks ago, is going to be on. Super Sadiq, who's part of the UFC as well, is going to be on. Former UFC The Ultimate Fighter champion, Colton Smith, is going to be on. We're also going to have Bare Knuckle champion on there, as well as another Muay Thai fighter. And look, that's a lot of guests for the first episode, but let me tell you, it's jam-packed. It's lined up. I'm going to be co-hosting the first episode with Angel, but this is Angel's show. This is his baby. So after that, you won't see me on his show. But I am super excited for that. That starts at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday. That's going to be a good show, Cam.
I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm going to jump on there and ask him a question. I think Monday night. I'm amazed at the rise in popularity of the bare knuckle fighting, and there's a lot of crossover happening. Ex-UFC fighters getting into bare knuckle, which to me blows my mind, and it's awesome for the organization, bare knuckle organization.
Yeah, we'll definitely do a lot with them as we move forward into the future. So each and every Monday, you'll see the best combat sports coverage and interviews with the best fighters around with Angel Ortiz. So make sure you guys check that out. It's going to be awesome. All right, now back to the Dolphins, talk. I really am interested to see this first game. So last night I'm watching the Steelers-Cowboys game, and the Steelers just looked straight dominant of even the fourth and fifth stringers just look so much better than Dallas's fourth and fifth stringers. And I look at that and I'm like, is that a coaching thing? Is that just a scheme thing? And I think it's a little bit of both, but I am excited to see from a standpoint of the Dolphins next week on the 14th, when we play the Chicago Bears at 1 p.m. I'm just excited to see, what our depth looks like, because I think that's going to play such a big factor into the season in the COVID world that we live in. If players all of a sudden get on a COVID list, it's going to be a next man up. So I think more important than ever, preseason is going to be important, because we're going to have to see what these guys are really made of.
No, I couldn't agree with you more. And I've been preaching that, from 1 to 90, and whoever ends up on the 58, you can be assured that the talent is going to be so much better than what we had last year and better than the year before. And that's what makes, a championship team, a playoff team is not only, having exceptional players on the ones, but having capable players to step right in and perform those duties without any fall off on the twos and even threes in some cases. So, and I think Greer's done a wonderful job of building that team, building this team, and you can see the talent on the field now during the practices. It's pretty amazing to see.
Let me ask you, just because you were a big proponent, Albert Wilson has just showed up. He showed up and showed out. He's been the number one receiver in training camp this week. Why did you call it months ago? Why, this is not a surprise to you. Why is this not a surprise to you?
He was the number one receiver on the team in 2018. He was, prior to, when he was with the Chiefs, he was, one of the top two wide receivers on a Super Bowl team. He was leading the NFL in yards after completion. And so when he had that devastating hip injury, which guys, underestimate the severity of that and what he had to go through, and then took an additional year off, for COVID reasons, which I think what lended him, a wonderful amount of time to fully recover and get strength back in those hips that are so essential for what he does. That's why I thought he would come out and really be exceptional this training camp, and he has been. I will say this right now that he is, between him and Will Fuller, they will lead the team in receptions and yards gained, per reception. I think Albert Wilson, if he stays healthy, will be a catalyst for this team to really be a serious playoff contender.
I think when you look at the Miami Dolphins and you look at the wide receiving room, it's so fun to think about all the different options that we have. And when you see a guy like Albert Wilson show up, which here's the reality, there was a question mark and there still is question marks with him, right? But if he's consistently doing this throughout training camp, I mean, that's what, think about it. Will Fuller, Jalen Waddle, Devante Parker, and Albert Wilson, and not forgetting Lynn Bowden and all the other plethora of wide receivers that we have. It just makes it fun. Again, I have to reiterate, though, the offensive line has to show up because we have to have the quarterback to be able to throw it to somebody, right?
Yeah, quick hitters. I mean, but that requires, technique, and that's what they're working on as far as the O-line goes, making sure their assignments are taken care of so Tua can get the ball out quickly to these guys. That's essential.
Neighbors for Neighbors just posted on their Facebook page, today was a touchdown with Stephen D and Cameron 954 from Clock Blockers. Thanks for having us on to talk about Neighbors for Neighbors, our Surfside efforts, and more. Hashtag spread kindness. I like it. I like it. I love it, and I like it. All right, we got Big John in the back room. What's up, Big John?
Big John.
What's going on, man? We can't hear you. Talk. You sound far away. You sound far away.
Oh, I don't know why the hell I sound far away.
You sound so far away, John.
Jump back on. Let me
you jump back on, and we'll get you back on here, big guy.
That's a big man.
That is I would not mess with Big John at all. They don't call him Big John 007 for nothing. Okay? At all. Hey, EM, Finsanity, get on here. I want to talk to you too as well.
Good morning, EM. Good morning, Finsanity.
4 Ps equals payoffs. What's up, 4 Ps? Dolphin Dan in the building. Even though it says Dolphin Don, he's telling us to call him Dolphin Dan now. He's officially being changed to Dolphin Dan. Because everybody calls him that anyway.
Hey, Finsanity brings up a good point about Trill Williams, and not only Trill Williams, but some of these names that you're not hearing in camp. That's not always good, right? So, and she knows that. Like, if your name isn't called, if you're not making, drawing highlights or press, catching the eye of somebody, it doesn't bode well for your future on the 53, right?
No, it does not.
I can say the same thing for Lynn Bowden. We haven't heard nothing.
I've not heard his name all training camp.
Right. I've heard about Foster. I've heard about Jakeem Grant balling out. Obviously, Albert Wilson. That doesn't bode well for some of these guys. So, there's a few weeks left, and we'll see if that changes. But in the beginning, you can see, who's getting the press.
Dolphin Dan, what is up, Dolphin Dan?
What is good, Cam and Steven, man, and the Fins familiar out there. Man, I feel great.
What's up, brother, man?
Hashtag Spread Kindness Friday, man. How are you, brother?
That's what I'm talking about. Well, first thing off, I want to get something off my chest. The reason I wasn't in here yesterday was because I had to go, since I'm over 50 and smoked 30 pack years of my life, from the service and all that, had to go get my lung screened, man. So I just want to tell everybody, if you're thinking about smoking, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Just don't do it. For real. It's not worth it. You think you look cool right there at the moment, but no.
And I'll say throw that can of dip in the garbage too.
Yeah. Because I did that before I smoked.
I did that for 28 years myself, man. Not good.
Yeah. Dolphin Dan, well, I'm glad you're healthy now and you're making the right decision now. What's up, brother? What have you heard so far this morning that has intrigued you? Did you listen to the Neighbors for Neighbors thing? I know you like that. You were in there. I
did. I like that, man. So yeah. A lot of times I can't talk, if I'm like either working or something like that. But when I can talk, I get out here and yell.
What are you looking forward out of training camp today?
Man, I just want to see them, that line, like you said, because we've been kind of a mix mash, and if Tua ain't got time to throw the ball, we got problems.
Yeah, I don't know how they go, and this is a question for both of you, Cam and Dan. I don't know how they go about making this better. Like, you thought DJ Fluker was an answer, right? So Fluker obviously hasn't, we released him on an injury settlement. You thought Solomon Kinley was going to be an answer, but Solomon Kinley's playing with the fourth string. And so now it's just like, what, if these two things don't pan out, and I haven't heard Skura's name at all.
No,
it makes me a little scared about depth. And I have to be honest with you, that is freaking me out a little bit.
Yeah. And part of it, man, a lot of those guys were rookies last year. I get that. I get it. So I'm kind of hoping for something to, leap out at us. Maybe it'll come at the first game, where we've got, Atlanta, whatnot. Or Chicago, I don't know.
What I'll say is it's early in training camp. They're plugging and playing. They've got guys working out of position because, Greer wants his offensive line to be versatile. You got Davis in the right tackle right now. You got Eichenberg working at left guard. You got Dieter at center. That doesn't mean that that's where the starting five are going to be. It's because they're getting these guys experience against a really deep defensive line. I mean, you got Christian Wilkin working with the two. So, if he's working against Skura, I'm good with that, and going back to Skura, I think Travis Winfield had on his podcast yesterday some really good points about Skura and how good he looked. on the second team. So you never know until, like I said earlier, that final preseason game, or actually, the first game, who lines up and who that starting five is when that final roster is released.
Yeah, it's like a scientific formula. I mean, we've already proven one part of the formula works, and that is Tua throwing the rock. And also
100%.
Shout out to Chef Jew, man. He's always out here, man. Always
Chef
a kind
Jew's the
dude,
man.
man. Yeah.
Chef Jew. Dolphin Dan, before we let you go, because we're doing things just a little bit different this morning, I do want to ask, man, what are you most excited to see from defense today? Because Benardrick McKinney's name obviously has come up pretty big, but we know that in order for this team to move forward in the standings, to win more than 10 games, to make a run at the playoffs, our defense has to be top notch.
Right.
And obviously the whole Xavier Howard situation is what it is, and that's at a stalemate right now. But what do you want to see from the defense today?
Secondary, you hit right on it, man. Since X is not playing, obviously, and Byron's he's in there a little bit. So these young guys have an opportunity to go out there and ball out. Like Needham, he's been balling out. So I'm waiting for Igbenogany to go ahead and take that next step, and kind of molt into his role, basically. Because I think they got him. I think he's X's heir apparent eventually. They just didn't think it was going to be this eventual.
And I don't know if Iggy's ready to make that jump yet, because he hasn't played well in training camp. He has
not.
Cam
He has not.
And there's another gentleman that's been playing well in the secondary. That's Justin Coleman, who they brought on a contract this offseason. So he's been balling out too. But I agree with you guys. It's Igby's, got to prove himself, but he was a young guy coming in the training camp, the youngest player in the NFL last year, and he's made strides. But it's still early in camp. And like I said, man, wait till that last week of camp when the ones start playing against the ones, and you'll see who's on the field.
Yeah, and by the way, I want to say something. I don't think Iggy's a bust yet. I just think that I'm not impressed with what has occurred so far with him. I would like to have seen more, but I still think he's a project, right? And a lot of people will disagree with me because they're like, well, he's a first-round pick. He shouldn't be a project. He should be ready to play if you're a first-round pick. I don't always think that that's the case. I think that I have to trust Greer and Flores from the standpoint of they saw something in this kid that other people might not have seen. And so for me, I'm not saying that it's going to hit, but if they saw something, I believe that they saw something and they're going to bring out the I believe it's on the coaching to bring out the best in that.
Right.
I agree.
He just didn't fall out of the sky.
No, he didn't.
Right.
And they jumped up for a reason because they knew other people wanted him.
Dude, he was a lockdown corner at Auburn that, with the exception of a game or two there, I think Jefferson burned him. But, he locked down Smith and locked down Waddle against Alabama a couple games. So definitely the talent's there is what I'm saying. And, I don't think you pass up that kind of talent at the cornerback position if you can grab them. And you know what? They had the luxury of 2 or 3 first-round picks when they got them, so they took them,
Definitely.
Yeah. And we've all seen that little clip.
Dan, I appreciate the love, brother, and happy Spread Kindness Friday to you, man.
Right back at you, man. Peace, y'all.
Have a great day.
All right, we got Big John in the building. Big John Big John Stud 007.
Yo, will you can hear me now?
We can hear you perfectly.
All right. Them headphones are a piece of shit. I'll start with that. Jesus Christ, man.
Well, Big John, while you're sitting there getting your grievances about your other headphones, what are your grievances with this team right now? What do you want to see improved on today's training camp?
Dude, the only real thing that needs to be proven is 2 things. One, either Preston Williams shows up or they're going to ship his ass out of town. That's as simple as that. I mean, you can only live so long on that incredible move he put on the Tampa Bay defender for a certain amount of time, He faked the guy out of his shoes, his underwear, his jock strap. He caught the pass, and it became viral. But you can only live off of that for so long. You don't get on the field, man, you ain't going to be here.
You got to be on the field. What have you done for me lately?
That is the truth, man. Because there's too many good players out there making plays.
Yeah,
and let me ask you. Go ahead.
And the depth of the wide receivers, you have to show up. Like, this is not a position on this team that, the potential's there for him, let's keep him around. You either show up in training camp and preseason or you don't make this roster.
Yeah, but potential gets you fired, man. So
that's what I'm saying. I don't think that that's going to matter in this position. I think you either can play it wide. Like, check it out. There's going to be 2, maybe 3 wide receivers that get cut from our team that will make the roster on somebody else's team.
No, of course. You know? I think the Saints have like 1 receiver and 7. They have 1 receiver and 6 guys from Walgreens that are trying out right now. So I mean, I'm just.
What was your question? You said you wanted to ask us a question.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you a question. I was having a conversation on Larry's channel yesterday. Me and Ballgame were going back and forth, and me and him agree. But I want to hear your take because I know you like to give everybody an opportunity, even if they don't deserve it. But
see, there you go.
Would you consider Devante Parker to be a bust? Would you like me to give you more context before you answer me to explain? I can tell you why.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, Devante Parker's been in the league for 7 years. Out of every wide receiver that was picked in the draft, everybody's had a better career but Devante Parker, and he was a first-round pick. Even Nelson Aguilar has better career stats than Devante Parker. And Devante Parker is penciled in for at least 8 games a season where he doesn't quite feel well. He doesn't play.
Let me answer that, Big John. I'll say in the NFL, he's not normally he wouldn't be a number 1 receiver, but on this Dolphins team, he has been the number 1 receiver. But I don't think he's the number 1 receiver. I don't think he's the maybe the number 3 receiver behind Waddle and Fuller this year.
Or even Albert Wilson, maybe.
Yeah, that's the way I view him. He's a boundary possession receiver at this point, right? Because Waddle and Fuller are going to be running the middle, taking the tops off the defense. Parker's going to get his on the sideline.
No, I get that, but I'm saying as far as considering the fact that he is going to get paid $12 million a season, and he's only going to give you 8 games because he's going to be out for like 9. He'll either pull a hamstring or he'll have to extract a tooth or he'll come up with some excuse.
Let me play devil's advocate and answer your question from this perspective.
Mm-hmm.
What is the average NFL career? 3 years, right? So
okay,
he's already surpassed that. So check, right? I want to go back and look at the first round where he was drafted at, but I would be willing to bet, and I could be wrong. So please correct me if I'm wrong. Anybody in the chat or you?
Mm-hmm.
He's the only wide receiver that's probably still with his current team that drafted him. Aguilar's not.
Yeah, because we have more patience than every other team.
That is true. So
our roster wasn't full of any talent at the time, right? So like by default he was our number 1 wide receiver.
I'm just playing devil's advocate here. That's it. And number 3, the third thing I'll say to it is which is very rare, but when he has showed up, he's balled out.
But my question is, how many times has he balled out that you could think of?
Not enough, but I don't know if bust is the right word for him. I would say.
Well, okay, in 7 years, he has 28 touchdowns. Would you like to divide that?
No,
because that's pretty horrible.
It is.
That's pretty horrible.
Look, you bring up a very good point. I don't want to say he's a bust, but the reality is he probably is a bust. And
you're telling no lies, big man.
Yeah.
No, I'm only keeping it real from the point of view that we have a stacked receiver room. Okay. I know
but if he gets 8 to 10 touchdowns this year, what do you say to that?
He's got to do it again. Just because you did it he did it. He got how many touchdowns the year before? He got 9, right? Or the year before that?
Something like that.
I mean, he never shows up. That's just he's a glorified name. It hurts me to say it, but he's a glorified name.
Well, there was a time where fans, and I was not one of those fans, but there were fans that thought they could get a 2nd-round pick for Devante Parker.
Yeah, before he got injured 15 times.
You know what I think? I think right now, like, what is he, 7 years in with the team, something like that? You look past where he was drafted and understand where he fits in this current group. And, he's a pseudo number one that is a complementary piece to the other pieces that have been brought in. And as a whole, this offense will function pretty well with him if he stays on the field.
That's the main part of the whole thing. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm saying it from the point of view of we have a stacked receiver room, right? Preston Williams is always injured. Most likely, if you have Preston Williams and you got Devante Parker, and they're giving you the same production, you might as well stay with Preston Williams. Devante Parker is getting paid $12 million, and Preston Williams is getting paid $890,000. Okay, for that you might as well get rid of DVP. I don't care if you get a 5th round pick. I don't even think they'll give you a 5th round pick for him.
I think he's worth something. I don't know what that something is, but I do think he's worth something.
No, okay. But my question is, wouldn't you rather see Kurt Merritt play that spot than have Devante Parker?
I would.
Kurt Merritt.
4P says Steven is a Parkeneer.
Hey, look at
Good
it this
one,
way.
4Ps.
For $12 million, you get 16 games, right? 8 from Parker, 8 from Williams.
Well, what is he if we cut him, which I don't think we would, by the way. But what is the salary cap hit to us if we let him go?
I don't think it's I off the top of my head I don't know, but I know that I think we would save about 12 mil, dude.
If you in the chat box know about that, I would love to know what you think. SoFlo Sports says Parker over Merritt. So
because right now we're at training camp. Who's had more explosive plays? Kurt Merritt.
He said there's some great wide receivers and prospects in the draft next year. Vicinity, get on. EM, get on. Miami Football Talk, get on.
But you just said you're doing one person at a time. You're never going to be able to have a panel.
Hey, Big John, to answer your question, though, you're absolutely right. I mean, Preston hasn't really, his name's not been spoken either, right?
Neither one of the two. That's the only reason why that's the only reason why Jakeem Grant, who first thought he wasn't going to make the team, came back and said he thought he has a shot. If it was me, I've told it to you guys before. Steven knows my phrase. Jakeem Grant cannot catch a beach ball with stickum gloves. All right? I'll stick to that to the end of time. And you can tell me he only dropped 4 passes, but he drops the passes he's not supposed to drop. When you cannot drop a 50-yard touchdown when he hits you in the hands and you got the guy beat by 2 yards. You're a professional wide receiver. And I had somebody tell me he's not a wide receiver. What the hell is he then? If you're not a wide receiver, I'm not going to pay you $5 million to return punts, man. I'm not going to do it. Not when there's applicable or there's just as good. I don't want to say just as good, but there are good enough people to return punts at a cheaper rate that can play more than one position. And the main part of a receiver is to catch the ball. Like that's the objective.
Waddle will be returning kicks.
Oh yeah, I know he's been returning on mine. I have him on my Madden team. He returning my Madden punts. I'm telling you that right now.
He will be returning kicks here.
Oh, by the way, I felt great yesterday. I was playing Madden, and I cut Jakeem Grant. Let me tell you, it was fantastic.
It felt just as good as he hoped it would, right?
Man, there was a big monkey taking off my back. I felt like Steve Young. Oh my God.
Kirk Merritt is a UFA going against number 2s, and Parker has been productive and in the league for 7 years.
Productive. Well, that depends on your definition of productive.
That's perspective. I will give you that. But he brings up a point. He does bring up a point.
Hey man, I'm not saying he hasn't had a good games. I'm just saying I don't think he's earned his money.
And you don't think he's worth staying on this roster?
Not if you're going to have Preston Williams, because you got two players.
EM asked you what system, Big John.
What do you mean?
Let me throw this in there quick. If Parker is cut, it's a $12 million cap hit. I'm looking at Sport Track right now. So really, the only
there's no reason to cut him. There's no reason to
a
cut
trade,
him.
right? And if they trade him for a 5th or 6th round pick, that'd be lucky. If another team is going to take on that salary, because that ain't happening.
And honestly, I would say, instead of that, I would rather have a starting offensive lineman. If you're going to trade him for an offensive starting lineman.
I didn't tell you to trade him for a punter. I just said if we're going to get rid of him for something that matters.
Well, from what I've heard, we don't need a punter either, because Parladay, or however you say his name is.
Oh yeah, no. That guy's nasty. He's amazing. When you kick a ball 60 yards and you can drop it on the 1 just because it felt like sitting right there, yeah, that's skill.
That's crazy.
Dude, that dude's got more accuracy with his leg than my 9-iron.
Hey, EM, stop typing to me. I'm not your girlfriend. Get on here, man.
All right, Big John. We're going to bring in a couple of other people. Thanks for coming on this morning. I love you, brother. Be good.
Peace out, John. Have a good day. Good.
Miami Football Talk. What's up, brother? Hello, Miami Football Talk.
Yo, can you hear me?
I can also hear that
Miami Football Talk
too.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, I'm like in and out of this really bad reception area right now.
What's up, man? How are you?
Oh man, a whole lot of nothing, brother. How's everything going with you guys, man?
Everything's going good with us,
Doing
man.
good.
Thanks for calling in this morning. What are you hoping to see out of training camp today?
I'm hoping that. I mean, I just want.
Yep. There he go. He gone.
Hey, who was it over here in the chat?
Miami Football Talk. We lost you, bro. What'd you say, Cameron?
All right. Todd over here in the chat room says, if no team is willing to trade for Parker more than a 5th round draft pick, that should tell you enough about Parker. No lies told. No lies told. Right
no
there.
lies were said there.
You know, it's just his cap hit on this current contract is huge. So we're stuck with him, I think, this year. And I don't want to say stuck, because he could have a productive year, 8 to 10 touchdowns, and we'd be happy with that, right? You know, like I think he's a victim of his draft position. He was probably drafted a little higher than he was supposed to be. Didn't come in with a great work ethic or a diet regimen. And listen, he was getting coached by Adam Gase. So enough there.
Look, I want to see the Dolphins obviously have productive players. You know, one of the things that TD Finstock was stating is that Byron Jones was getting one-on-one work with some of the secondary coaches off to the side during training camp last couple of days. That's the kind of stuff I want to see, right? Like, I want to see 100%. That type of stuff. You know, supposedly Shaquem, is it Shaquem or Shaquille? Shaquem. Sorry. Griffin. I think that he's interesting too, because he's been getting a lot of one-on-one work. I really want him to make the team so bad.
So do I. And like everybody on the team raves about his work ethic, raves about his personality, his impression so quickly on this team. And he's been balling out. Like, he's been playing with the twos because AVG has been injured. So Beagle's been getting that work.
That's somebody I'm looking forward to see on the 14th. I want to see him in preseason.
Griffin. Who's that? Oh, me too. You know, he'll get every opportunity to make this team. You know why? Because he's an elite special teams player, number one. Number two, as just like we talked about with Big John and before, is that he provides superior depth, and he can step in and, you know, play, you know, on the 2s or 3s, and if need be, play on the 1s and not lose much. So I like him on this team.
Cap for life. What's up, Cap?
Hey, good morning, Camera, Steven. Good morning.
Hola.
Good morning, Cap.
How are you, brother?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine, Cap.
Man, this traffic sucks. Hey, listen, I just wanted to talk about the linebacking core and the production. the production for the linebacking core the past couple of months have been, we've all talked about it, and the growth has been phenomenal. Everything that I've been hearing so far from the linebacking core has been nothing but praise, and I just want to see that continue, man. As far as with everything else, it is what it is, man. It's just I love to see the production going on off the field as well, with you guys starting to grow and the community making a difference in this team, man. Everybody says, oh, they're not listening. They're listening. And I'm telling you one thing right now, man, this team is going to make a difference, and a lot of people on this team are going to be a lot of new rookies that we're going to love as well. It's going to be a good thing, gentlemen. Good Friday.
Good. It's a Spread Kindness Friday, brother. I can hear myself in the background of you.
I love that positivity, Cap. Keep it coming.
Hey, one of the things that I think Cap brings up a good point of is the linebacking core, right? And Benardrick McKinney has he's as advertised, I guess is the best phrase to you. Would you agree with that, Cam? He's as advertised.
He's doing what he was brought in to do, right? Like solidify the middle and let Baker roam this, the sidelines a little bit more.
I think Jerome Baker has a better season because of Benardrick McKinney.
100%. And Benardrick McKinney is doing what we thought Raekwon McMillan, what he was drafted to do, and obviously couldn't do. And McKinney was brought in to do that, and it's showing already.
Well, it scares me because remember, Benardrick McKinney restructured his contract with us, and so he's on a 1-year deal now.
Yeah.
And so we had him for 3 years before that. Now we have him for 1. And if he balls out the way I think he's going to ball out, he's going to demand big money. And
the Dolphins can let him roll, like they don't have to match him. So, Benardrick is betting on himself, number one. Number two, the Dolphins needed that money to sign a couple of these other draft picks. So good on him, McKinney. I don't know how the Dolphins convinced him to do that, to give up his later 2 years. Maybe there's a back channel wink deal or something, but hey man, all we can do is take this season.
I mean, look, I would like that wink deal with Agba as well, but if we see a production level from AVG rise even more this offseason, that could offset if McKinney does decide to bounce, because we'll have more depth if Phillips also develops. So I like that problem coming into the future, but I just really want to see what's the status with AVG as well. You guys have a good one, man. I got to go. This phone's about to die.
Love you, Cap. Be good, bro.
Take care, Cap.
Yeah, man.
Do you want to answer his thing about AVG?
Yeah, so Benardrick and AVG and Phillips, they play 3 different positions, right? AVG and Phillips are more on the boundary edge setting and pursuit. In terms of the quarterback, Benardrick is plug in the middle, identifying run stops, and allowing Baker to do his thing sideline to sideline. So I don't think AVG and Phillips have too much bearing on what happens with McKinney going forward in terms of contract, because really the positions are different.
No, 100%. I totally agree with that. All right, let's try to bring in Miami football talk back. Let me see if I can bring him out. What's up? Let's see if Miami football talk.
What's up? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now, big homie. I can hear you. And I can hear me.
I gotta mute and unmute, so you gotta give me some time here.
Well, real quick, why don't you give me the highlights of we'll have you on quickly because I got other people on too. Tell me what's your thoughts of everything that was said so far this morning, and tell me and what you look forward to seeing today at a training camp.
I think our biggest problem right now is the trenches. I think that us not being able to establish a dominant run game is going to hurt us tremendously. We have a tremendous passing game. We see it. You saw this last padded practice, Tua balled out. The receivers were balling out. It was what it was. If the defenses are playing zone against us, I see us eating them alive, no problem. Man on man is a different story, but then again, that all falls down to the trenches. If the offensive line can be able to open up the holes for a run game, then whether they play man or not, then we'll be able to be very competitive. But if that offensive line cannot open up for a run game, I think we are in big trouble.
Miami football talk. I appreciate. We're going to elaborate on that, but I do want to say thank you for retweeting our stream today out on Twitter, man.
Always, brother. Always. I support. Always.
Be good, brother. We'll let you go, man.
Later, gentlemen. Have a safe Friday. Have a good weekend, and everybody stay safe.
Awesome.
Have a great day, brother.
I'm going to answer his question here. I just want to hit the reset button. You're listening to Miami Sports Music Podcast Network, #1 morning show, Clock Blockers. I am your host alongside me, Cameron 954 from East 32 Dolphins Tailgate. We're going to stay on just a little bit longer, but I would love for a couple more people to get on and say what you said and say what you guys think. I want to hear your thoughts on the team today, what you've seen so far. This is Spread Kindness Fridays. If you guys want to donate to the channel, help the channel grow, please go do that. Hit that donate button down at the bottom of the chat, the money sign. You can also use PayPal, MSMpodcastNetwork, or Cash App, which is $MSMpodcastNetwork. But anytime you guys donate, it helps the channel grow. So we definitely, appreciate all donations. It's a big help when you guys do that. Also, Irving, I saw you in the back. Get on back, Irving. I also want to remind everybody, too, Monday, 7:30 p.m., we're going to have the debut show of Fire and Ice Combat Sports Podcast right here on Miami Sports Music every Tuesday night. This is episode 3, but it'll be episode 4. I want to remind everybody, if you speak a little Espanol, Tuesday nights at 9 p.m., Hellfins Podcast. Absolutely amazing. And if you guys are interested in doing anything with us, just hit me up on social media, and I'd love to talk with you. We're always growing here at Miami Sports Music and always looking for bigger and better ways to do things. All right, let's bring in Irving. Irving, what's up, brother? Irving, you there? Irving, let go. All right, let me answer Miami Football Talk's question about the trenches. The trenches for me is something that is going to be the biggest factor on whether this team wins 9 games or 13 games. And I really think it's going to be that big of a percentage from a standpoint of how good is the offensive line. If the offensive line holds up, this team will be successful. There is no doubt in my mind that will be the case. If this offensive line is scrubbed and not good, we're in for a long season. Would you agree with that, Cameron?
I mean, you can say that about all 32 teams in the NFL, especially the Dolphins. Absolutely. We live and die in the trenches, and every NFL team does, So we got to have a stout line and protect Tua. And if we don't, it's not good. It's going to be a long season.
Where do you think the biggest question marks are? Because, obviously Dieter's been playing center over Skura. We haven't heard Skura's name at all. That's one, which is a good and bad thing, right? I've always said that if I don't hear your name on the offensive line, that means you're doing things right. That's one. But the other thing is Solomon Kinley hasn't done any, he's been showed up into camp, just not looking like, what do you think about that?
Hey, I think, like we said before, that this team is mixing and matching and see what the best fits are, and we won't see the final result. And I really, I stray from judging too much what's going into the offensive line now, because they are mixing and matching, and they want versatility, like I said. So I think the whole offensive line is a question, right? Until we see, the depth chart come week 1.
Yeah, it'll be definitely.
Might be
all right.
Might be an easy way out.
Let's bring in my man Irving. Irving, what's up, brother?
Hey, what's up, Steven? How you doing?
How you doing, man? Thank you for coming on the show this morning. Happy Spread Kindness Friday to you.
Good morning, you too, man.
So,
what's up, Cameron?
Good morning, Irving.
You too, man. Good morning, man. How you doing?
So a lot of stuff has been discussed this morning. What are what is the hot topic button on your mind that you want to talk about?
Offensive line.
All right. So tell me your thoughts,
you guys,
man, because
I see I see what you guys are talking about on the offensive line. I don't know. I don't know to say if I'm concerned or to be patient. I don't know. Because I know the Dolphins are just playing musical chairs along the offensive line. and are experimenting to see what works and to see which lineup gives them the best opportunity. Projecting, starting into the season, what gives them the best look for the best, pass protection and for the best run protection. I have concerns of Liam Eichenberg being a left guard. We first of all, we spent a future third round pick, and we traded from 50 to 42 for him to be a right tackle, and it's concerning for him to be, and I'm not comfortable with the fact that we're putting him at guard when he was supposed to man to his blind side. I'm pretty sick to my stomach when it comes to the center position. That Matt Skura is dropping down the depth chart. You have him as playing with the third team. You have Cameron Tom now playing better with him. Getting first and second team reps, mostly second team reps. With Michael Dieter having no experience being a center, even though he does show some promise. Man, that's a concern, man. And then Solomon Kinley at left guard, and then you have Austin, pretty much. What's his name? Jesse Davis at right tackle.
Mm-hmm.
If you have Jesse Davis starting at right tackle, I don't think you used your draft resources well. Yeah, that's my thing.
Cameron, you want to take this?
I can't argue with Irving. Like I said, they're plugging and playing right now, and it's a mix and match. But if week one and we see Liam inside and Davis on the right side, then we should all be worried.
Yeah,
it's funny. ABAB says Jesse Davis not even able to finish practices. Flipside Fishing says this O-line is unproven and makes me queasy because it's a huge question mark right now. Big John, I'm going to get to your comment in a minute. But yeah, I mean, look, the offensive line, I think, I like what you said. They're playing musical chairs right now. They are playing musical chairs. And weird. I think I don't want to hit the panic button yet because I think that Flo is trying to see what works and what doesn't. And it's the first 2 weeks of train. It's the first week and a half of training camp. It was the first 2 or 3 days of pads. Let's see where this goes.
Yeah.
Now, what is a little scary is we just don't have it down pat yet, right? And and that's one thing we'd like to have down pat is the offensive line. But I think we're going to be fine when it comes down to it. I just don't know what that starting offensive line looks like come week one against the Patriots this year. I have no idea what that's going to look like at all.
Mm-hmm.
And ABAB says, and Greer's not even bringing in offensive line. He's a joke. You know how I feel about Greer, AB, but I get why people are upset with it.
Yeah. I mean, look, listen, I know the Dolphins, I don't think they made a mistake in drafting Eichenberg. I don't think they think that they made a mistake in getting Solomon Kinley or choosing Robert Hunt over certain guys that they had an opportunity to draft, like trading up for Werfs or getting a Tevin Jenkins in at 36
Quinn
overall.
Mernez or whatever his name is. Mernez.
Or Penei Sewell at 6 or whatever. Yeah. This is a team that believes in their coaching ability and their development program, that they can coach these players up to their potential and be able to maximize their abilities. And so I think that's more hubris than anything. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I think 2 things you're going to see next draft. You're going to see a plethora of offensive linemen in next year's draft for the Dolphins, and you're going to see a big-time running back in next year's draft with the Dolphins. Those are the 2 things. I mean, look, that's not a big hot take. That sounds like common sense. Those are the 2 things we really need to focus on. But I'm telling you, that's where next year's draft needs to be focused in on, is the offensive line in the draft. And here's another thing, too. Guys, there were no post-June 1st cuts. So I'm a huge football fan. I'm going to be watching these 2nd, 3rd, and 4th stringers on these other teams because somebody's going to get cut somewhere that's a diamond in the rough. And I'm telling you, I would not be surprised that if maybe even 2 offensive linemen make this team that were on somebody else's preseason roster or training camp roster. I could totally see that.
Like a Ella Manoir, like a Cameron Tom.
I mean, somebody's got to be out there that's going to get cut, whether it's for purposes of money, whether it's purposes of relationship with that coaching staff, maybe. Somebody is going to get cut on the offensive line this training camp that is going to be a really good fit for the Dolphins. So I believe whether it's 1, maybe 2 or 3 offensive linemen, I think you'll see on this roster come week 1 that we have no idea who they are.
I think, in my personal opinion, I don't think the Dolphins are going to go after or sign anybody that's cut. I think they're just going to stick to the guys that they're getting second and third team reps.
Nah, Dolphins have been known to go after guys. Dolphins have been known to go after waiver wire guys and stuff like that. Trust me, Greer's looking at other games.
I definitely hope so. But the thing is, I'm going to give a little kind of like there's a silver lining and in a dark cloud, and that's, I think, the Dolphins really emphasize on bringing speedy guys that can run their routes pretty fast and can get to their spots in the zone or wherever they need to be faster to give the offensive line, put like less pressure on the offensive line to hold their blocks so long. You know what I'm saying? So if you guys speedy
great point. That's why Eichenberg was drafted, right? Because he's known as a technician who is flawless in his technique. He doesn't have the longest arms. He's not the quickest, has the quickest feet, but he wins by technique. And that's what the Dolphins have preached all along. And that's why Eichenberg was drafted, right? So to your point, he doesn't need to win with power or length. He wins with his technique, and technique those first 2 seconds that Tua has the ball in his hands, that's all he needs to get it out. So I can see why he was drafted, right? The fact that he's on the left guard is a little worrisome right now.
Yeah, but also I think they're looking at Eichenberg and putting him at left guard because they want to strengthen that left side with Austin Jackson and with Eichenberg, because Eichenberg, his pretty much his bread and butter, even though he's good in pass pro, it's run protection. And Austin Jackson, when he played next to Solomon Kinley, he really played well against the run. He passed off combo blocks well with Solomon Kinley. So Liam Eichenberg being such an instinctual run blocker, I think that can help Solomon Kinley. You can really, I think like EM has said before, you can balance that athletic left side with the more power right side. So it'll give you a nice balance along the offensive line.
And precisely. And that's why I think at the end of the day, Robert Hunt will be our right tackle. He had a good season last year. He's progressed during training camp this year. And I think he'll be the right tackle moving forward.
All right, Irving. Any final thoughts of anything before we let you go?
No, man. All I say is just I hope Tua keeps progressing. I think he's going to be the team's future franchise quarterback, and hopefully we patch things up with X so we can continue our way of making progress and making hopefully make the playoffs. Hopefully get closer to Super Bowl contention. So
I 100% agree with you there, brother. Happy Spread Kindness Friday to you, brother. Be good.
Hey, be good, bro.
Thank you.
Have a good day, everyone.
All right. I want to get to. I wanted to finish off that conversation about the offensive line because I thought it was good content and we needed to talk about it. But I want to bring up. So Big John Stud 007 donated $5. Shout out to Big John 007 for donating. Guys, donate to the channel. It helps the channel grow. But the reason I wanted to wait to talk about his comment, I usually throw up anybody who pays their comment right away because I want to have a conversation about this. He said, "Hey, Steven, just so you know, Colin Cowherd compared to Mark Sanchez and Tim Tebow. I almost lost my mind. That guy's a buffoon. What do you think?" The national media are all about clickbait is the best way for me to put it. They are all about what's going to draw the most attention to have people watch my show. Here's the reality. You might not like Colin Cowherd, but people listen to him because he says outlandish things. And it's all about clickbait. That's all that it is. Colin Cowherd is somebody that literally just wants to drive up traffic to his show. As somebody who's in the business, I put that in quotations, I get it. I understand it. But I take everything he says with a grain of salt, and I don't think he believes in 90% of what he says. What are your thoughts, Cameron?
I mean, you hit the nail on the head. I don't listen to Colin Cowherd because it is just buffoonery, as Big John Studd said. But it is clickbait, and that's what he's paid to do. He's paid to drive viewers and into his channel, and he does that by saying some outlandish stuff. And it is what it is. Everyone knows what it is.
Here's another thing too: the national guys don't see this team on a day in, day out basis, right? So as much as I don't want to say I bash Omar. I don't bash Omar, but as much as people bash Omar Kelly, I would listen to Omar Kelly over anybody in the national media before, anybody.
No, I appreciate Omar because he's consistent in his views, right? Like he has views that are consistent to what he's been saying for years, and his outlook. If you've followed Omar over the years, you know he's more of a pessimist than optimist, and he'll keep it real in his terms. And I appreciate that. Doesn't mean I agree with everything you said, but you can't. I don't compare him to Colin because Colin is just nothing but a national blowhard, right? He's up there, and to your point, he doesn't see this team on a daily basis, and it is what it is. He's up there to provide channel mix and drive people to his station.
Guys, donate to the channel. Shout out to Irving for the $2 donation. If everybody donated $2 or $5 right now, that would go a long way into providing funds to be able to do things that we want to do here on this channel for the month. If all 56 people donated $2 to $5 right now, that would go such a long way into helping the channel grow. So please donate to the channel. It helps the channel grow. I want to say one last thing about this topic. The national media also, a lot of them are from New York, and a lot of them are Jet fans. So I don't take what they say because they don't know what a good football team is anyway. Mike Greenberg. I loved Mike and Mike back in the day. They're one of the reasons I wanted to do this show, right? Like I grew up watching Mike and Mike. The reality is he hasn't seen a good football team in 30 years. Why am I going to listen to Mike Greenberg talk about what the Dolphins like when he's a Jets fan?
Man, they're haters. You know what? And they'll be jumping on the Dolphins jock and Tua's jock once.
I'm telling you, they will.
Tua lights it up this year, and we all been here from the jump, so we know who the real fans are.
It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. And the reality is the Dolphins are going to be a good football team this year. Listen to me. The Dolphins are going to be a really good football team this year.
Let's talk about that.
And when the Dolphins become a really good football team this year, I already know guys like Colin Cowherd, Mike Greenberg, all these national media pundits, Stephen A. Smith, whoever, Max Kellerman, who else am I missing? I know I'm missing a lot, but all these people are going to be like, well, Tua just needed time to develop. And I knew that as long as he had time to develop, he was going to be a good. Nobody is saying that on the national media. I hope everybody's keeping the receipts. I hope they're all keeping the receipts because nobody is saying that he's going to be good from the national media standpoint.
There's very few guys that are. Let's look at the schedule, and not even the schedule. Look at this team last year, finished with 10 wins, right?
Yeah.
They have added a game. There's a 17-game schedule this year. It's undoubted that Greer's improved the talent on this team, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no doubt that Tua is a better quarterback than he was last year at this point in the season, right? In preseason. He didn't have a full training camp last year, right? Because of his injury, correct?
Correct. Yep.
We've seen his growth. We've seen Albert Wilson return.
Mm-hmm.
We added Benedict McKinney. We added in the draft Jalen Phillips, Javon Holland on the defensive side, correct?
Mm-hmm.
These are all additions that made this team better, correct?
Yep.
this team won 10 games last year. With keeping in mind, just analytically, this team is 3 games better than last year's team, correct?
Yep.
That's the way I see it. At least 3 games. And I would take a stretch and say they're a 14-win team. If they go 14-3 this year, brother,
they're the number 1 seed in the AFC.
Agreed. And that's what our expectations should be. That's what I'm saying right now, that at the ground level, this is a 13-win team. And this is a potential 14-win team that would put them in the Super Bowl conversation. Is that a fair
with the roster as is with X? 100%.
Exactly, as is with X.
Yeah.
Is that a fair expectation?
Yeah.
Is that a fair expectation, Steve?
I think it is. I think if you look at what the Miami Dolphins did by addition, by subtraction, right, and as well as addition by addition, and getting new players into the building and the draft and the way that it has, I have said, from day one of doing my show, this is episode 65. I've been doing this now for 2.5 months. I've been saying for 2.5 months the Miami Dolphins are a 13-win team. I have said that. You can go back in the tape and look. I think we are a 13-win team. Yes, I have to scratch my head at a couple things like the offensive line, the miss and match. But I don't know what it's going to look like, and I'll be able to have a better understanding of it after 2 weeks of preseason, not just one. I need to see 2 games. And then the other thing to that also is I also think that Tua, and I have said this, I got to get in the mic and in the camera and just let y'all know. Tua, I have said this. Nobody else has said this. Well, people are saying it now, but nobody else was saying this 2.5 months ago when I was, that he was going to have the biggest jump from year 1 to year 2 of any quarterback in the history of the NFL. He would have the biggest jump. I've been saying that. I've been saying that for days. Been saying that for weeks. I've been saying it for months. I think Tua Tagovailoa is not only the franchise quarterback, I think he's a star in this league. I think he's one of those once-in-a-lifetime generational players, and I understand that I have the homer eyes and that you're incorrect. I said he could be a dark horse for MVP. Okay, Big John. I'm just telling you, I think that this kid is special. Special. Did you see him at the press conference yesterday? He's talking about
swagger.
He's got swagger, man. That kid walks around like he owns the building.
Well, it's his team, and that's what you want from your quarterback, right? He is the alpha dog right now, leading this team full of alpha dogs. He's supremely confident in his hip and his ability to lead this team, and that's why you saw his success at Alabama. And the guy has kept his nose down, his chin down, and worked through this injury and made himself better to be in the position to lead this team. And that's what you want from your number 1 quarterback, correct?
100%. Big John Stud 007 with another $5 donation. Guys, donate $5 like Big John. You guys got a cup of coffee, donate $5. You're incorrect. I said he would be a dark horse for MVP. People were laughing. Let's see who laughs last. I have been saying for weeks that Tua is the man. That Tua is the man. That he is ready to do this. Hit that like button too. We got 52 people watching, only 30 likes. Hit that like button. This team is special, man. This team is special.
It can be special.
I already think they're there with the special because of Flores.
You're special when you start winning games that you're expected to win.
I understand. Yes,
that
you have to beat Baltimore. You have to beat Baltimore, not because Baltimore is a better team. This is because Baltimore's had our number for years, and it's a primetime game, and we need to get that monkey off our back.
The first game of the season at New England.
We need to take care of business.
Historically, we don't play well in New England.
Has been bad.
This is a different team. If we go in there, handle our business, and beat them by 2 touchdowns in New England,
nobody's going to be able to tell me nothing.
Then we start believing. We come home against Buffalo and handle our business at home.
Now we're 2-0.
And now we start thinking.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
I mean, we jump right off the jump. We got 2 interconference games against the hypothetical number one team in the conference and our arch nemesis, Buffalo and New England, respectively.
I'm telling you right now, I truly think that the Miami Dolphins, if they go in 2-0 into after the first 2 weeks.
AB is out here telling us that we're going to go 0-2, man. Jump on here and tell us why, bro.
AB, come on. Tell us. I love
Step up.
AB. I don't agree with him, but I love him.
I just said I don't either. Step up, AB. Let's get out here and talk about it.
Mr. 305 says, in our own line sucked during the run game. Look, it's easy to be critical of this team. It's easy not to have hope. And hope sucks. Hope being a Dolphins fan is something that will kill you, will give you a heart attack. But I have hope, man. I have hope, and I have hope for good reason. I have hope because I think Tua Tagovailoa is that guy. I think he's starting to show that he is that guy. The only reason this team doesn't succeed, in my opinion, the only reason would be the offensive line.
Hey, and if the offensive line is trash, then we're in trouble, and AB's got a point.
Yep. We have all the tools otherwise, I think, to win. And by the way, I'm not judging the offensive line yet. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to judge the offensive line yet. AB says the offensive line is not ready yet. That's why they're going to go 0-2.
And if they're not ready, he's right. But I cannot see Greer and his coaching staff putting an offensive line out there that won't be ready because the rest of the team looks ready, right?
Yeah. Josh Lugo says, Josh Lugo 84, how about if the Dolphins go 0-3 under Tua?
Dude, I'm gonna throw my computer in the trash because it's gonna be hell to listen to all these haters out there if we go 0-3.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough to do morning shows.
I'll start talking about the Marlins all year off season.
I don't think that is something that's gonna happen. Let's just get that straight. But I'll play game with your little question there, Josh Lugo. If the Dolphins go 0-3, it will suck. I will not hit the panic button just yet. I won't hit the panic button just yet. But what I will say is I think that if the Dolphins go 0-3, it'll be specifically because of the offensive line. And if that is the case, then I think this year we're going to know if we're not doing good, it's because of the offensive line or the quarterback, which, by the way, I don't think it'll be the quarterback. So, I think we've seen what a good offensive line does, a decent quarterback does with a horrible offensive line, a.k.a. Tannehill with the offensive lines he had. I think we're going to be able to really tell with a great quarterback or a really, really good quarterback with a crappy offensive line. We're going to be like, that's the O-line. That's not Tua's fault. I'm sure people will want to, throw shots at Tua. But you're going to know if it's the O-line. You're going to know. Shout out to Chef Shu and the $10 donation. Versus the Bears. Shout out to Chef Shu. I love Chef Shu. I just want to know how the O-line and the running game is going to be. How much Tua has learned. Our defense will be in the top 5, and our special teams will pick up where they left off, 13-4. Let's go.
Hey, Jew, you're the man. Appreciate the donation. I don't think Tua sees much playing time in the preseason at all. Maybe a couple series and versus the Bears at most. You'll see Brissett and Stinnett get most of that playing time. But you're right. It's all about the O-line and the running game. And that's what we want to see.
Guys, just donate $2, $5, $10, whatever you can donate. Donate to the channel. It goes to helping the channel grow. I'll get your question up here, and we'll be able to talk about it. But definitely, it goes to helping the brand grow. So shout out to Chef Zhu and everybody who's donated so far this morning. Let's see here. I'm going through the chat. Even if the O-line struggles, some people will blame Tua. I agree with that. I already said that, AB. I agree with that. But we'll know. The smart fans will know this is not on Tua. This is on O-line. And if that's the case, my hope is that maybe if whatchamacallit is still if what's his face, if Xavier Howard's still on the trade block, maybe we go to a team that's got a good offensive line and say, hey, give us 2 starting O-line for Xavier Howard instead of draft picks. I don't know. I don't think that'll ever happen. I'm just trying to throw out a scenario out there. So I don't think we're going 0-3, but if we did, an 0-3 start with an underperforming offensive line would cause Greer's decision not to draft Sewell or Jenkins to be his cross to bear.
Agreed. Or worse, the prior draft.
If we go 0-3, winning the Bucs will help build our morale. Winning any game would help build our morale if we go 0-3.
Trade Howard for Tunsil. That's awesome.
I mean, look, you'll see anything there.
Hey, listen, we go 0-3. The shitstorm of media bias against Tua will be nothing like we've ever seen.
Yeah.
The crosshairs on Greer and Flores will be forthcoming and should be. Like I said, this team on paper should be going up to New England and handling its business and sticking its flag in the sand and telling the rest of the East that the Dolphins are here to win this thing. And, taking Buffalo at home would be a war. If the Dolphins can handle their business against the Patriots, my expectation is that we protect home field against the Bills.
Sorry, I'm just texting somebody back.
I think the trap game is at Las Vegas because they're an improved team. They've got the type of team that historically has given problems to this Dolphins team. Again, it's a new season and both rosters are different. Just going down the schedule, Indianapolis, who knows what's going on with their quarterback situation and who they'll have starting by that game. At Tampa Bay, we go in 3-1 hypothetically against Tampa Bay, and on a nationally televised CBS 1:00 game, beat the defending Super Bowl champions. That's when I said before, that's when I'll start being a true believer at this team's potential to be a Super Bowl contender.
Gotta win those games, and when we do that, I think you'll start seeing the fan base start getting excited and not being as critical.
That's the expectation. 3-1 going into that Tampa Bay game.
Definitely. All right, guys, we're going to do our wrap up. This has been a great show today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I want to give a big shout out to Katy Marr from Neighbors for Neighbors, an amazing organization. We did the donation of the money that we raised from the Surfside community to them. It was absolutely awesome. We're going to be doing more things with them in the future, so be on the lookout for that. Please go support them. They're an amazing organization, and I definitely want to be able to do more with them in the future. So make sure you guys go check out neighborsforneighbors.org/Surfside. Okay, so make sure you guys go check them out. I just want to say this has been a great Spread Kindness Friday. Cam, would you agree?
Super positive, with the Neighbors for Neighbors segment, which was awesome. Looking forward to working with her and that organization moving forward with East 32 Dolphins Tailgate and Miami Sports Music. Great guests in the show today, providing some great analysis. Hey, man, and I'm heading out to training camp today, 1:00 with my daughter. I'll be live tweeting. Check me out at Cameron954 on Twitter. Maybe I'll post a video or two on IG on the East 32 Dolphins Tailgate Instagram. And I look forward to seeing you all next week and checking out the Fight Cast on Monday night.
Fightcast on Monday night is going to be good. Be on the lookout for that. Want to remind everybody, Spread Kindness Friday was started for many, many reasons, but one of them is that I believe that that we don't do enough for each other by making sure that we're okay. Sometimes we just need to know that somebody cares, or somebody is really our friend, or somebody's listening. I want to say R.I.P. to Jay Villa. I miss Jay Villa every day. And I tell people all the time, all you have to do is just ask somebody, are they doing okay? Okay. Literally, it takes a text message to pick up and say, hey, what's going on? I just wanted to hear from you. Are you okay? I was thinking about you. Are you okay? Whatever it is, just reach out to somebody you haven't talked to in a long time. Because I'm telling you, you never know where somebody is just somebody could be having a bad day and could be thinking the worst thoughts in the world about harming themselves, and they think nobody cares. And so to hear a text message with the words thinking about you, I'm telling you, you don't know what that does for somebody. And I would say I would do it a million times till they respond. You never know what type of, you just need to reach out to people. Reaching out is the best thing you can do for somebody. And, I just want to see that for everybody. So Spread Kindness Fridays has to do with just with just being there for your brother and sister, your Finlaws, your family, your friends. And, I want to see more of that. And so my goal for you today as my family is, please reach out to somebody today you haven't talked to in a long time. Send them a text message, hit them up on the phone, but make sure you get a response from them. And make sure you say in there, I'm thinking about you, I've missed you, or I love you, something of that nature. Because that's what people need to hear, that they matter, that they care to somebody. Okay, so hit that like button if you haven't hit it already. Donate to the channel if you haven't donated already. You can donate through the PayPal, which is MSM Podcast. You can also donate through Cash App, which is $ MSM Podcast. Or you could donate through the Super Chat here. And sign up to become a member. Sign up. Become part of the family. Become part of the family. Cameron, as always, dude, I love you, brother. You're absolutely amazing. I'm super excited about seeing you in a few weeks. And we're going to do this thing big this year. It's going to be bigger and better than we've ever done it. Miami Sports Music. Chris Johnson, California, with the $2.99 donation. Guys, if everybody right now donated $2.99, that would go a long way. I want everybody right now, all 35 people who are still watching, donate $2.99. Let's go. Donate. That's a cup of coffee. It goes to helping making the channel better. I love it. I love it. I love it. He said, nice speech. It's not a speech, man. Those aren't just words either, man. Like, I really mean that. Too many people have committed suicide because they have just felt alone. And there doesn't need to be that. There does not need to be that no more. We are a family. We have to lean on each other. Nobody's going to do it for us. We have to be there for each other. So that's my big thing. So just love you guys. I love all of you. I love doing Spread Kindness Fridays. I love doing this morning show. I want to keep doing it. And we're going to keep doing it. But, we got to be able to, start being able to make this thing work and get bigger and better. And we can't do that without your help. So hit that like button, share the video, donate to the channel. All of it goes to helping everything. Shout out to ABAB. Great show, guys. Irving said, pancake that like button and subscribe, y'all. All right. We're going to get ready to get off the air. I love you guys. Y'all be good. Don't do nothing I wouldn't do. And we'll see you on Monday morning, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Hey, next Friday is the 13th. It is my birthday. We're going to have a huge show. Cameron, it's on you to make sure that the guests are lined up. I want some surprises on Thursday. I want there to be.
I didn't tell you this, but I'll be joining the show from Atlanta. And so I might have a surprise for you up there.
I look. I'm just saying. If you want to send me a present, hit me up on social media at Stephen D SKPL. I'll give you my address. You can send me a present.
Yeah.
I take all presents and donations. Samuel Rosa, great show, guys. Stephen D, have a great day and stay safe.
Hey, I want to say, man, I want to give a shout out to everybody in the chat, donating, hit the like, providing feedback and content. We can't do it without you. And everybody have a wonderful weekend on the Spreadcon this Friday, man.
Right here on Miami Sports Music's podcast network, the #1 Miami fan morning show, Clock Blockers. We'll see y'all. Good night.